10 drivers who are in the final are really going to be trying extremely hard, and I hope the Jaguar are prepared, because, I mean, this has got some serious dough up front.
Race for $100,000 is a big deal.
Which is the largest prize that I've ever raced for.
We didn't have this kind of prize money. We didn't get paid the kind of money the guys are making today.
Normally, prize money you never really think about the prize money. The glory of winning is the key.
If I had to say, you've got to pick one guy.
When you really get right down to it.
Parnelli Jones.
Parnelli.
Everybody's going to get serious Saturday night.
It's time to be number one with a lot of zeros behind it.
And if you haven't seen it lately, this is what $1,100 bills looks like, the pot of gold at the end of the Fast Masters Rainbow. To win it, you got to do more than get past my well-armed friend Dave from the Marion County Sheriff's Department. You got to beat 9 of the great names in American motorsports to put this, the Jim Searcy designed Fast Masters Championship trophy, above the mantle. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain. It is with a note of sadness that we join you for this, the final round of Saturday Night Thunder for 1993. And if you were with us for Speed Week, that little montage at the end brought back many fond memories of a full season of qualifying for the Fast Masters Championship. Tonight, we'll crown our champion, we'll give away the money, and we're going to bring you a terrific midget show. Lot to do in 3 hours. Take a look at how the format will work. We're going to jump right into the racing, as we like to do here, with the USAC Race of Champions. Tell you more about that in a moment. Then Fast Masters qualifying, so important here. We'll run one of the midget semis, come back with a Fast Master Heat Race #1, qualifying 3 for the final. Second midget semi to round out the field for the main. The Fast Masters qualifying heat #2. The Mel Kenyon Classic is our midget main event tonight. And then the Fast Masters final with 6 drivers going for $100,000. The lineup, impressive indeed. Let's take a look at our 10 Fast Master finalists. How gracefully George Follmer has aged since he won the Can-Am and Trans Am championships. Bobby Unser back in the days when he won 3 Indy 500s. Bobby today at age 59. Parnelli Jones, 30 years since he won the Indy 500, comes here at age 60. Brian Redman, a great young road racer from Britain, at 56, still handles the pedals pretty effectively. David Pearson's career spans the history of big league stock car racing. He's 58 now and ready to roar. 3-time Indy 500 winner Johnny Rutherford would like to put one more on his resume. And the Ace McCullough as a young drag racer. Ace today at age 51. David Hobbs, a great road racer, now our ESPN colleague at age 54. Bob Aiken, back when he was winning Sebring. Bob Aiken today at age 57, a Fast Master. And Eddie Hill, the first guy to turn the quarter mile in under 5 seconds. A terrific lineup of talent. They'll be along momentarily to qualify. First item on the card is that 10-lap midget race of champions, and the experts on the subject are standing by. Breaks my heart to introduce them for the final time this year. Our ESPN Saturday night anchor, Gary Lee, 3-time USAC champ, Larry Rice. Ladies and gentlemen, the Gary and Larry Show.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, everybody. This first race should be a dandy. 10 drivers, 10 laps for a purse of $10,000.
Hey, man, this is the big bucks boogie. This is the one these guys have been waiting on. I mean, we got 10 guys that have all had quick time or won this race at one time or another. Look, we got Bliss, we got Dryden, we got Fox, Hettinger, Mitchner, and all these guys are tough. Nichols, Parsons, Reeves, Stewart, and Tolsma, they round out the top 10, and these guys are all tough, and any one of them could win it.
Well, I tell you what, a short race like this, starting up in front is a premium.
Well, they're drawing right now for position, and you're right. If you don't start in the first couple of rows, it's going to be tough. But I'm going to tell you, any one of them's got a shot.
Well, I like Fox for a couple reasons. He's been tough this season on pavement. He's won at Phoenix, Milwaukee. He's also the fast qualifier. And look at this. Bliss just arriving. A lot of these guys ran at Springfield today in the Silver Crown cars. The Illinois State Police gave him a police escort to the airport to get him here just before practice. There is Stevie Reeves. He's also in this race, but Fox is also the fast qualifier this evening.
Yeah, that's right. Fox is fast qualifier, but I got to take Bliss. This guy is hot. I mean, he's won in every kind of race car, on every kind of racetrack, and he's going to be tough to beat here.
All right, that's your pick, and he's standing by right now with Dave Wilson.
Well, we're down here. If 1993 is any indication, I think we're with a Fast Master of the future right here, Mike Bliss. A great time over in Springfield today. You finished 7th, but you had to make the feast to the semi. Are you tired, or what happened?
Oh, I feel pretty good. It's kind of wearing a little bit when I stop, but we had motor problems. I had to run the hooligan race, and I got second, or I won that actually, and then started 21st, and we finished 7th, so the motor started running a lot better.
Well, Raceway Park's been real good to you this year. You've won in all sorts of different types of cars. What's the toughest for you to drive here at IRP?
Probably the midgets are more demanding because you just work it a lot harder. You're on the edge all the time, and you're working the steering wheel a lot, seesawing back and forth, and the cars are just so fast. And I got to say probably the midgets, but the dirt cars are right there, too, because they're big. Well, now, you know, upstairs, they've been picking you, so a lot of pressure there, okay? We wish you a lot of luck. Right now, here's a guy, we both have great appetizers, no doubt about that. Our new colleague down here, here's Benny Parsons.
Thank you very much, Dave. I had to do something to get in this picture along with the qualifiers for the Fastmasters. And listening to our tease at the top of the show, Parnelli Jones, looks like these guys think you're the favorite.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I can see these guys out here are pretty tough. I mean, I know we've been out here practicing, and, you know, I haven't been quick or anything like that every session. So I think I have my work cut out for me.
In 1963, when you won the Indy 500, what did it pay?
Well, I paid $156,000. However, you could buy something with it, too.
But how much did you get? You got, what, 40, 50% of that?
Yeah, I got 50% of that. So, you know, in those days, that was a lot of money. And, you know, I was climbing the ladder then. And, of course, I've been fortunate enough to, you know, have a good business and stuff like that. But certainly $100,000 would really go well right now.
Hey, Dave Despain will go real well because, hey, he's to the age everything is paid for. It's all net right now.
All right. Thank you very much, Benny. Good luck, Parnelli. How big a deal is it? We offered Benny the promoter's option to run tonight. He said, nah, man, I want to work with you guys and cover the big race. ESPN Saturday Night Thunder coming up after the break. Saturday Night Thunder is brought to you by Jaguar, the spirit of competition and the technology to produce the world's fastest production car. By Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. By Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. And by Split Fire, the patented performance spark plug. It only costs more until you use it. On Saturday night, the fans gather at Indianapolis Raceway Park. First up, the USAC Race of Champions. And it seems somehow appropriate to me that the pace car tonight is going to be a Humvee, a military vehicle. I think it's going to be war out on that pavement before this night is over. The big 0.6 of a mile oval lies waiting and ready. And the 10 qualifiers are on the line ready for this Race of Champions. We lovingly call these folks the Thunderheads. They are the folks who watch live from the grandstand on Saturday night at IRP. We welcome all of you Thunderheads at home as well. As we said, kind of a sad note here, this being the last show of the season. But we're going to guarantee you a good one, and here to call the action for the Race of Champions are Gary and Larry.
Well, there's a look down the front straightaway at that Humvee that belongs to Gary Runyon, who owns Jack's Tool Rental, the sponsor of this race. There's a look at Johnny Parsons, the 48-year-old veteran from here in Indianapolis. They drew for starting positions. He'll start inside the fourth row in that Vogler-powered craft. And there is Danny Dryden. It was just 1 year ago at Springfield that Danny Dryden almost lost his life in a midget race in the mile. Watch him here in the white number 33. Contact is made. He almost clears the outside wall. And unfortunately, word had spread around the fairgrounds in Springfield last year that he had died in that crash. But miraculously, he survived and came back to race another day.
He's made a miraculous recovery. He's come back. He had quick time out here already this year. I mean, he's done one heck of a job. He's back working hard every day to get going. And I'll tell you, I think he's close to being exactly as good as he was before, if not as good.
Builds his own race cars. And he'll be starting inside the third row. Once again, the luck of the draw. These guys have won features or set quick time here at Raceway Park. They're prepared to go 10 laps. There's the signal. Jerry Franklin, the USAC official, says, fire them up. We're underway shortly in the Copenhagen Skoal USAC Midget Division. A 10-lap, $10,000 purse. $4,000 to the winner. Second for $2,000 for second, $1,000 for third. And look who starts on the pole. There's your pick, Rice.
Hey, man, I told you, he's hot. He's lucky, man. He's on a roll.
Well, with the new onboard starters, they fire them up. He rolls away in the Ralph's Potter, the Potter Muffler Shop Beast V6. And we'll come back for a 10-lap shootout. Stay with us. Back live at Raceway Park, where we plan to jam-pack in more racing than is possible in 3 hours this evening. There's a look at Kenneth Nichols. He's won out here on 3 different occasions in the Ale-81 car. That's the Nowicki car, but there's a problem.
Yeah, there's some sort of a problem. Like, he came to a halt down there. They're down there getting a push truck down to him so he can get going. He's really can't get it in gears. What we're being told is that he can't get the thing in
that's
gear.
too bad, because he has drawn the outside front row starting position.
And boy, that's a killer when you got to go to the back. When you got to get a shove and go to the back, it really, really hurts you. They picked up a brand new sponsor in Right Way Grinding tonight just for this event, and we're looking forward to doing well for him, but it's going to be tough.
Well, of course, when the car's sitting still, you can read the sponsor a lot easier.
Well, that part is good, but he doesn't want it sitting still right now. Believe me, it's really, really going to be.
Let's take a look now at the starting lineup. Once again, the luck of the draw will put Mike Bliss on the pole. Kenneth Nichols had drawn for outside the front row. In the second row on the inside, Tony Stewart, just in from Springfield for the Silver Crown race, and Jim Hettinger in the 5B car. In the third row, there's a look at Danny Dryden. Stan Fox was the quick qualifier for our Bell Canyon Classic this evening. In row 4 on the inside, there's a look at the veteran from Speedway in Indianapolis, Johnny Parsons. And outside, the youngster from Michigan, Andy Michner. And rounding out the field, row 5, there is Randy Tolsma out of Meridian, Idaho. He won earlier this season. There's the defending national midget champion, Stevie Reeves, starting outside.
You know, Gary, it's really interesting to look at 10 of the best cars in the country, and there's 7 different kinds of engines in those race cars. We got a V6, we got a Fontana, we got a V4, we got a VW, we got a couple of Pontiacs, a Vogler, and 3 Gerties. I mean, that is diversification, man.
And Steve Lewis, we've talked a lot about Steve Lewis, the performance racing team. He has his 2 drivers in this, Fox and Reeves, and they qualified 1-2 this evening for the Mel Kenyon Classic, so they're going to be tough in this competition.
Well, they've had an awfully good team here for the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, Steve Lewis puts together a great operation. Bob East obviously runs it for him. Donnie works on the cars for him awful hard. And Fox and Reeves are no slouches when it comes to driving those babies, and that combination is tough to beat.
Well, you notice now moving to the outside front row starting position, the number 5 Hettinger car. That is Jim Hettinger, and he drives an Autocraft Volkswagen powered car, and he's done very, very well with that power plant.
Well, they upped the cubic inches on the VW this year to give them a little more, to give them a better chance, and I'll tell you, it has helped them a lot.
All right, we could go green this time as Bill Carey looks them over. And there is the green flag. 10 laps, 10 cars for $10,000. And Hettinger gets the good jump over Bliss. And here comes Fox.
Hettinger got a great jump, and I'll tell you, he could be tough. But look at Bliss. He gets down on the inside, gets a big slingshot on that corner, right on by. But look at Fox.
Fox on the inside. Ooh, he has to tap the brake just a bit, slow down, tuck up in behind him now. But again, he looks to the inside. We watched Stan Fox qualify, and I mean, he was really loose for a pavement track, but he was still quick.
Man, he was all over the racetrack, but he was fast. He's riding that thing like a bucking bronco, and he's still doing it out there right now.
Well, that Potter V6 right now about to be passed by the Gertie Power. No, he doesn't make the pass. And the top 3 are right together on the racetrack. Tony Stewart back and forth, Parsons up to 5th.
Hey, baby, this is only 10 laps. You got to go for it any chance you get. Fox knows he can't sit back there and wait. He's got to get a run. He's got to get a shot, and he's got to try to go under. And he just can't quite pull it off. Look at Hettinger, though. He's stalking both of them. He's ready to take the lead if anybody makes a mistake.
So you have a V6 Chevrolet out in front, the 4-cylinder Gertie in second, and then the Autocraft Volkswagen riding in third. Once again, the inside move by Fox.
Fox has got him. Looks like Fox has got him. He made a big slide job. He didn't really give him a slide job. He ran right around him on the inside of the corner, slid up in front of him, and look at Bliss. He's going to try to give him a slide job. Didn't make it.
But Bliss went all the way to the flat part of the racetrack, and that is not the fast way around.
It's going to be tough. Look at these guys. We picked the 2 guys and look at them running 1-2.
Makes that sound pretty smart. Makes me sound smarter because my pig's out in front.
I love it when these guys make us look good. I tell you, the Fox, that thing, you're right, he didn't look very smooth. He looked like he's all over the racetrack, but boy, is he fast in that race.
You think maybe he's a little disappointed that he did not win Belleville? It looked like he had Belleville covered. He was leading, jumped the cushion, got upside down, but here, he's pulling away.
Yeah, he just admitted brain fade. He said he just hadn't run enough. He made a small mistake, but on a racetrack like Belleville, a small mistake can be a big mistake. And he's pulling away. Hettinger's keeping up with Bliss, but Fox looks like she's taking her on down the road.
Well, of course, Fox runs a limited midget schedule because of his Indianapolis 500 commitment.
Did you see Stewart right there? He hit the wall coming off the board. There's a black mark on that wall. We'll see next time around. He actually hit the wall with the right rear tire, but he kept the thing straight and kept going. But that let Danny Dryden in that black 3 car get around it.
Well, Stewart was very late in arriving back from the True Value Silver Crown race at Springfield. Did not get any practice in the midget. Only got 1 lap to qualify.
Look at Hettinger. He's trying to get after him. He's really working on Bliss, but he just cannot quite get around him.
Working on the 8th lap. This is the battle for second. Now, second place pays $2 grand. Not a bad payday for 10 laps of racing. Third place pays $1,000. And this is the battle for second. Bliss in the blue number 6, the yellow number 5. Oh, hang on. He almost lost it right there. Hettinger got as far sideways as you can without going on around.
He sure did. He got that thing real sideways. Down there on the flat part of the racetrack, there's not as much banking. There's only about 4 degrees on the bottom, 10 degrees on the top. And you get down there, it just makes it real tough to stay straight.
White flag out this time around for Janesville, Wisconsin. Stan Fox, he takes the white flag as car owner. He keeps laughing about the absentee car owner, but Steve Lewis is here this evening watching his 2 drivers in competition. It looks like Stan Fox is going to take the victory and the $4,000 from first place. The battle continues for second. Look at the ground that the yellow car has made up. Hettinger really made up some ground if that slides through turn 4.
Hettinger in that yellow car, I believe, is faster than Bliss. Just can't quite get around him.
So the Beast Gertie of Steve Lewis Performance Racing takes the first place $4,000 prize. Second going to the Ralph's Potters, number 6. Of course, the Potter family won the USAC car owners title last year in the midget division.
He sure did. I tell you what, Fox is going to be happy. He's had a little bit of bad luck and a long dry spell. He'll be real happy to pull into victory lane here tonight.
Well, he is tough to beat in a midget on pavement, and he will pull into victory lane to collect $4,000 in the Jack's Tool Rental Race of Champions. And we're going to go back and show you exactly how he made that pass. You started to say a slide job, but he just made a nice, clean move on the inside.
Well, it's not a slide job, but he came down in there, he drove that race car in there real hard, held it straight, held it low, and as he progressed around the corner, he's up far enough, and as soon as he sees he's up far enough, he moves right up in front of Bliss. See right there? He cut the racetrack off to make sure that Mike didn't get a run off him down that back straightaway.
If you were a driving instructor, you'd say that's pretty good student right there. We're going to come back. We've got the Fast Masters to qualify coming up next.
We're back at Indianapolis Raceway Park with the Race of Champions winner, Stan Fox. First of all, congratulations. You got the right hat on here.
Well, thanks, Dave. I also got Jack's on my IndyCar uniform because he's one of our IndyCar sponsors. Plus, he owns my Silver Crown car, so that's a good win.
Yeah, you put $4,000 of his money in the bank. He's got 2 or 3 more hats here, so I got to ask him a couple of more questions. They talked about you being loose in qualifying, but the car was really hooked up on the bottom of the racetrack in that 10-lapper, particularly on the pass that you made. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, qualifying, we had quick time, but we run a hard tire because it's a 40-lap race, so you have to run loose to keep the tire working. And I just knew I had to get under Bliss here and scare the heck out of him if I was going to get by. And that I knew he was going to run high, and I just figured if I got down under there, we might get by, and it just worked good.
You scared him. Did it scare you at all?
It scared me the first time when I didn't get by him. We were a little closer than I'd like to be. But, you know, I'd like to thank Steve Lewis and Bob East and Earl Gertie. They gave me an excellent combination of car, motor, and car owner, and it just makes it easy for us. In fact, we took 2 cars out here and had first and second quick time, so you can't beat that.
All right, we congratulate you on a great win. After the bad luck at Belleville, come back and win that 40-lapper tonight.
Well, we're going to give her everything we can.
All right, there is your Race of Champions winner. And here you see, look at this, $750,000 automobile. It is the XJ220 Jag. It is the ride of choice for the Fast Masters. And this is George Fulmer, who was quickest in time trials yesterday. He won the Trans Am and SCCA championships in the same year. Also did some great stock car driving. Fulmer scheduled first out to qualify at the age of 59. Fastest so far this weekend, but this will be the lap that counts. We're ready to select the 10 qualifiers in order here, and the fastest guy will get the pole for the first of the 2 qualifying heat races. Now, this is from Friday practice. The best lap, 33.39 by Fulmer, but look at the spread. 300ths back is Parnelli Jones. 1200ths behind him is Unser, and then Brian Redmond at 33.57. Pearson, Rutherford, Hobbs, and Aiken, the entire first 8 bracketed by 3/4 of a second. The drag racers, McCullough and Hill, were not here yesterday because they were up in Brainerd. We'll have more on that story later. They are here. They will race tonight, and this is the first qualifying run of the night. Gary and Larry to call the run by George Fulmer.
George on the track on the backstretch. There's a sidebar to his presence here in the Fast Masters. This is the first time his 3 children have been here to watch him race since 1970. his one daughter from Fort Wayne, Indiana, a son and a daughter in Orange County, California. They've all come in as a family reunion. The first time in over 20 years that they're here to watch their dad race.
Well, that's a long time not to watch the old man race, I'll tell you. But I know that he's had a great time here. He's probably one of the most versatile drivers. Oh, well, I can't say that. All these guys are versatile, and they've proved it to us here over the last 4 or 5 weeks. But he has driven just about every kind of race car in every big race in the country and done a good job.
Well, of course, he won the SCCA Can-Am Championship and Trans Am Championship the same season back in 1972. In 1969, he won Phoenix, the USAC 150 Champ race in a normally aspirated Chevrolet. He's driven in some 7 Can-Am races, won 7 Can-Am races, and 13 Trans Am races. The yellow flag remains out. There's a problem with this timing device down there, I think.
Yeah, they're working on the electric eye. Something has happened to it to where it's not, you can see that's the it that he's working on, shining it down there. It has to make connection with the light on the other side, or it doesn't work properly.
Talk about versatility. He had 12 Formula One Grand Prix starts, and he drove in the Indy 500 3 times, 69, 70, and 71. He's driven stock cars, and there's his son from Orange, California, looking on. We've talked a lot about the family aspect of motorsports here on ESPN, and this is a great story to have the kids here.
Well, I tell you, the family aspect has been absolutely terrific. You see, he and his family, they're going to give him one more lap because he was coming around and I wasn't sure what was going on. They don't have any radios or anything, so they just had to give him one more lap.
The Fastmaster mantle for tonight. Look at that, 57 Indy 500 starts, 8 Daytona and Sebring wins, 7 Indy 500 wins, 1 Daytona 500 win, and 9 major Hall of Fame inductees. Look at this. Championships in IndyCar, Winston Cup, IMSA Camel GT, USAC Sprint and Stock Car Racing, and SCCA Trans Am and Can-Am. And right there is the green flag, the first to qualify, George Follmer out of Fallbrook, California. His best time yesterday, a 33.39, and he was the quick in practice last night.
And he was the quickest through this particular section of the racetrack, Gary. He went through that little section in there that we have a timer on in 14 seconds flat, faster than anybody's gone through there the whole time that we've been running out here. So he really made that road course section of the racetrack work for him yesterday.
We've talked a lot about the oval trackers and the road course drivers. This guy has done it all.
He's done it all, and you know, oddly enough, we thought that really all the time was being made up in the oval, but yesterday's times, most guys were very, very close on the oval. It was the road course.
Look at this, 33.404. You can't get much closer than what he practiced last night.
No, that's right. He's proving that it was no fluke. 404 is a fast time. He made a little wiggle right there, and it's going to make a little bit of difference. When you wiggle like that, it hurts you a little bit in these race cars.
Now keep in mind the GTE Front Runner Award, $2,500 tonight to the fast qualifier. He'd love to grab that extra bonus.
Hey, that's not small potatoes either. I mean, there's some big bucks out for this thing. We said this is a big bucks boogie. Well, this one here is no smaller. Well, it's a lot bigger than the other one was, really.
Oh, well, that wiggle didn't cost him. In fact, he goes faster on the second lap, the quickest ever in qualifying this summer, 33.233. That's a new track record.
Well, he proved me wrong, didn't he? Proved what a fool I am. He looked like he wiggled up there. It was going to cost him a little time, but in fact, it made him go faster. And I'll tell you, that is a quick.
You know, his son looks on, but his son didn't look like he was real happy with that run. But I tell you, George is going to be when he gets back in. And looky here, Bobby Yu. He's sawing on that steering wheel. Look at the concentration for Bobby Unser out of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hey, this guy, you talk about concentration. He gets in that race car. He's done it his whole life. Nobody works harder or concentrates more than Bobby Yu. And right now, he knows that Follmer went fast, and he's going to have one heck of a lap to beat him.
Well, here's the 3-time Indianapolis 500 champion. Ooh, he almost lost the rear end right there on that practice lap. Look at him through the chicane area, working hard on that steering wheel. He's the one of 2 drivers that won the 500 in 3 different decades, in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s for Bobby Yu. He was second quick in practice last night. He knows now what George has done. George has gone faster than what he ran last night.
And look at this shot. Look at the line he's taking. He goes in there just about where the midgets do, floats right up to the wall in the middle, back kind of diamonds it down off. They claim these race cars are pushing a little bit, so he pulls down and slides back up to the fence. Looked like a pretty good lap, but this is his first official lap. He just took the green flag.
His equipment last night in practice was 3.354, but there is the time to beat the new equipment for the entire season in the Fastmasters, and he's off in the dirt too as he drops that left side off.
He took the shortcut. You know, they proved that's the fastest way through there, to make that corner as short as you can. It's a little bit rougher, but it seems to be fast.
Let's quickly go down to our fast qualifier. Dave Wilson, you're with George Follmer.
to new track record, 33.233 miles an hour, but you said that was awful.
Oh, I scared myself every corner. Just didn't feel like I get a hold of the racetrack. I don't know whether the midget's running on the oval over there or whether it's just the cold tires and a cold car. Just the combination wasn't to my liking, but we'll see if it holds up, but I kind of doubt it.
Well, Bobby Unser just won a 33.4, so he's a little slower than you. You think your pole speed's going to hold up?
Well, we'll see. I got a couple of guys right behind me here, and we'll know in the next 10 minutes.
Well, a lot of questions still to be answered, guys.
Well, Bobby Yu is certainly losing the rear end on that car, having trouble keeping the rear end under him. First lap was 3.3436. The second lap, oh, look at this, at 3.3284. So he goes fast in the second lap, and he is second fast tonight.
Wow, 3.3284. Can you imagine? A half a hundredth of a second quicker. Oh, man. You think these guys aren't standing on her? Wow.
And guess who is coming up next as we take a look inside the car with, look at this sigh of relief. I got that qualifying run out of the way, and we look at Parnelli. Parnelli heads out next. Parnelli Jones.
Well, he's been kind of what the odds-on favorite, it seems like, by a lot of the pitsiders, not especially amongst all the drivers, but a lot of the pitsiders have thought he might be the guy to beat. But I got to tell you, Fulmer, Unser, I mean, there were a bunch of guys last night that looked tough.
1963, the Brickyard. 30 years ago, Parnelli won in Old Calhoun. And there in 1967, the Revolutionary Turbine, doggone it, he almost won it that year. And a bearing went out late in the race. There he looks now at the age of 60. Talk about the family unit. Wife Judy here. Sons PJ and Paige are also here to watch this evening.
Look at Parnelli. They're going to give him one more lap to go, and he kind of took it easy on that lap. I'm not too sure why. Maybe he thinks that the cool tires are the hot tip. He didn't really hustle the race car around there like the other guys had.
Let me correct one thing I said earlier. I said Bobby Yu was second quick last night. It was Parnelli who was second quick at 3.342, and Bobby last night was 3.354. So we'll see now what the 63 Indy winner can do. And let's go down and talk to Bobby Yu. I think he's standing by with Benny Parsons.
You're right. Bobby Unser, 0.05 of a second slower than the Fulmer car.
Well, this one pushes too bad. I just have to wait on the gas up on the 3 and 4 turn on the 5/8 mile, Danny, and there's just nothing I can do about it.
Is that why you were diming in the corner, trying to take some of the push out of it?
Yeah, just give me more room to slide, because if I get up high, I just go slide into the wall.
All right, $100,000, baby. A lot of money at stake.
Well, I know, and I mean, I squeezed an extra nickel out of it. It's just, this car's been inherently a little bit of a pusher. It's a good car, runs good, transmission works good, the brakes good, it just pushes a little too much.
Okay, all the rest of the guys are going to have a pushing problem, according to Bobby Unser.
Well, I'll tell you what, this 2 car is the one that Parnelli,
the brakes.
This 2 car is the one that he wanted, though. He said this is the fastest race car he drove yesterday, and we're going to have to wait and see.
Well, his first lap was 3.499. Talk about versatility. During his USAC career, he won a total of 25 sprint features, 13 stock cars, and 25 midget mains. That's tough when you go from a midget to a sprint car to a stock car and win all of them.
Man, if trying hard counts for anything, man, he smoked her going into 1, he slid her sideways coming out of 3, and look at the family. There's PJ, there's Paige, they're all cheering the old man on. You talk about a family unit. This is a family.
Second lap slows down to a 3.3.652. 3.3652, so he'll be the 3rd fast qualifier so far, and he won't be too happy with this.
Well, now, Rufus is going to be a little upset with himself, but I tell you what, he drove the wheels off that thing. He had her every which way but loose there going through that last lap.
Well, we've qualified 3 guys, and we have about 7 more to qualify, including the likes of Redmond, Pearson, Rutherford, McCullough, Hobbs, Aiken, and Hill. The Fast Masters qualifying continues. A full night of racing from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Welcome back. We love you, too. All the Thunderheads here for the Bell Canyon Classic, the championship of the Fast Masters. And there is a look at Brian Redmond. Now resides in Florida, formerly from England. He'll be the next to qualify, but right now let's talk to Rufus Parnelli Jones.
Parnelli, we saw a track record. Everybody kind of had their hopes that you would follow in those footsteps. What happened?
Well, I seen George go out and set the track record there. I probably shouldn't have looked, but I kind of overdrove the car. I just drove it into corners too hard and got her sideways. I even had her sideways coming off the floor there on the first lap. and that slows you down. You know, I was pushing a little too hard, that's all.
Did the track feel good? Did it feel better? Did it feel quicker to you?
Yeah, it was fine. The track was, it wasn't the track's fault. I just trying to stand on the gas too hard, and wasn't smooth, you know, and that's what you have to be. You have to not only run fast, but you have to be smooth, and I was not.
If you had Old Calhoun, I think you'd have showed him a thing or two, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, they'd have their work cut out for them, too, yeah.
Let's go back upstairs, guys.
Well, here's a look at the guy that co-drove the winning car in 16 World Sports Car Championship events between 68 and 1981. Brian Redman now lives down in Florida. Formula 5000 champion 3 consecutive years in 74, 75, and 76. He'll be the 4th to qualify. And once again, we'll have 2 qualifying heat races this evening as he completes lap number 1. And that first lap time for Brian is 33.954. 33954.
Well, he was quite a bit faster than that last night, Gary. He ran a 33.57 last night, so I know he's capable of going faster, and he's trying to look for that little extra speed. He may have watched Parnelli, saw Parnelli overdrive the race car, and said, man, I'm not going to do that. And that time maybe just took it a little bit too long.
Well, you realize these guys will go through 2 qualifying heat races this evening, 8 laps in length. So those that qualify 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th will run that first heat race. There's the second lap now completed. We'll check the time for Brian Redman. It is faster at 33.777. That is the 4th fast time, 33.777.
Well, I think he's going to be a little disappointed too. You know, these guys are so intense. They're trying so hard that I think perhaps they are just taking it a little bit too hard. They're trying a little too hard, and smoothness does count for a lot of us.
What Parnelli was saying was overdriving the race car.
Exactly. That's what I thought George Foamer did on that first lap when I said he slid the thing sideways, but it was fast.
Well, there's a look at Brian Redman. He is the 4th fastest qualifier. Let's go back trackside to Dave Despain.
Here's a qualifying run I'm looking forward to. A guy who is highly motivated here tonight, the Silver Fox. 3-time Grand National, now Winston Cup champion, winner of 105 races. We probably remember this guy best for 1976 when he and Richard Petty tangled off turn 4. He went on to win the Daytona 500. Now 58. He said, don't call me 60. You guys said last time I was 60 years old. 58-year-old David Pearson ready for his qualifying run. And he's got the potential, I think, to perhaps run with forward.
Guys, you talk about a game face. The last time he was here for the preliminary run, on Friday afternoon, I said, Dave, smile. He said, it's not time to smile.
That's right. It's not time to smile. The dance is over, man. He said, it's still going on. And he's ready to go. You know, he's no different than the rest of them. They came here for one reason. They came here to win. And he definitely had his game face on from the time he stepped into this racetrack to the time he went home. And he's had it the same way this time around.
By comparison, last night in practice, he went a 3.372. He was the 5th fastest qualifying. Well, let's go down and talk to Brian Redman. Here's Benny Parsons.
Hey, Brian, these guys are flying tonight.
Don't they always?
What are you, 4th right now?
I've no idea. I was only the 4th one to go, so I can't be any lower.
I think you're about 4th. You ran a 33.77, which is not a bad time, but the guys in front are flying.
That's okay. All I want to do is get in the feature at the end.
You want to be in the end?
I'd like to be there.
For the big money?
Right.
And he's going to take the money back to Florida, right?
Right.
Back to Florida goes the money, he says.
I want to tell a quick story after we get the time here on lap number 1. It's a 3.406. 3.406. He won a preliminary round, and Hobbs was 2nd. And he serenaded. We had an after race party, and he serenaded David Hobbs. I'm sorry we didn't have a can.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's some British drinking song, I think.
If he serenaded, that's the only time he let his game face off, because I tell you, he's been very intense. He's not going to be very happy with his first lap around the racetrack. He didn't look like, oh, look out, he's not going to be very happy with that either. Oh, man, he kept that thing off the fence. What a save. What a job of driving that race car. I know he's going to be upset with himself, but that's the first time I've seen one of those things that far out of whack and didn't get in the fence.
Well, there's the time, and that's why he slows down that second lap. So the first lap of 3.406 will be the official qualifying time for...
Man, he's going to be hot at himself, though. Boy, is he going to be
Brian Redman. You know, he had really some trouble in qualifying for the last time he was here for one of the Fast Masters preliminaries. Some of these road racers are having difficulty coming through 3 and 4, that outside concrete wall.
Well, some of these guys are having a little bit more trouble on one end of the corner. He didn't even realize that was his last lap. He went ahead and ran one more lap around there, but There he comes again. Look at this. That thing sideways. He's got that baby Tris. He gets another handhold. He took his hand square off. Look at that. He's out again. And he saved it. Man, he had his hands on every spot on that wheel and still didn't hit the fence.
You know, I'd
what
love
a job.
to have the chance to see that again.
But there it
let
is.
the fans,
Look at this.
But the close shot, to let the fans focus on the steering wheel and watch the hand position on the steering wheel.
Oh, man. Tony Dow's going to give him a great big old kiss for not hitting the fence with that baby. I'll guarantee you.
Yeah, he just saved, what, about $100,000 in damage right there? Maybe more.
You know, most of the time when guys, they say, oh, look at what a great job of saving he did, I always say, that's a bunch of baloney. It was luck. That wasn't luck. He did one heck of a job.
There's a game face for you. There's old Lone Star JR. Actually, he came out of Coffeyville, Kansas, but we'll call him a Texan anyway tonight. Johnny Rutherford, 3-time Indy 500 champion. He has been a wonderful ambassador for the sport of racing.
Well, most of these guys have been.
There he is in the famed chaparral of Jim Hall back in 1980. That was his third victory at the Brickyard and the introduction, really, of ground effects in IndyCar racing. This man has done it all. He's won in stock cars. He's won in sprint cars, a former USAC sprint car champion. There's how he looks at the age of 55 out of
Gary, I was at Eldora.
Texas.
I was at Eldora the day he went over the fence, landed on the outside of the racetrack, and broke both arms. Look at this. Good luck, JR. Big fan club here. And it was one of the scariest things in racing I've ever seen. He came right back and was a great race car driver ever since that scary.
24 IndyCar starts to his credit. Boy, he would love to get one more before he actually calls it quits in IndyCar racing, but he's not raced the Brickyard since 1988.
Yeah, he's been really disappointed the last few years that he can't get a very good ride. He's tried really hard.
But look, so relaxed. Look at that relaxed expression.
He doesn't, you know, most of these guys are gritting their teeth and making faces. He just looks like he's out there going down the freeway on a Sunday afternoon drive. But I guarantee you, in his mind, he's not. Look how much the concentration he has is immense. I've seen him run before, and he really has great things.
We'll see how this compares to his practice time last night. 3:48.05. 3:48.05. He slows down just about a second from his practice time last night.
Look at him, man. He almost had all four wheels of dirt going across that part of the racetrack. We talked about guys cutting the corner. That's about as cut as we've seen it.
A little longer blade on that thing and cut some grass down there.
Well, he's going to really try to hustle that thing this time because I know he's got to go faster. He knows about where he's at. He knows it's not as fast as it was last night.
Well, wife Betty, with her fingers crossed in the pit area in the second lap. Let's check it out, see if he can improve to a 3:4.442. So the second lap is the faster of the two. 3:4.442 for Lone Star JR.
Yeah,
look like
Did he do that?
He did it. He actually did that, and he had that planned all along. He was focused on exactly what he's going to do across the start-finish line. Let's go. You guys didn't see that in the pit area. Let's go back trackside.
I wish these guys wouldn't be talking about things we couldn't see, but David Pearson, I saw you coming off turn 4. You had to think completely sideways and saved it.
Yeah, and I guess I was just trying a little bit too hard because I felt like it, you know, that's through there is where I had to beat the guys at because these IndyCar guys are used to rear engine cars and, you know, and are used to running through like that on the road courses and things, but I just tried too hard.
Money isn't gone yet, though, is it?
No, not yet. I don't even know where I even qualified, if you don't know the truth, but I know it had to be way back.
Well, we'll find out where David Pearson qualifies. We'll find out where the rest of them qualify. But first of all, we got to take a commercial break. We'll be back in just a moment.
We're back at Indianapolis Raceway Park. David Hobbs pulls onto the racetrack for his qualifying run. Fast man thus far is George Fulmer. And the most entertaining qualifying attempt of the evening, perhaps turned in by Johnny Rutherford. And Kerry and Larry are ready to tell us what Hobbs is going to do.
You know, I'm not sure if that was meant for us or to the general viewing public, but after I talk about what a great ambassador he is for motorsports, and he pulls some stunt like that. I'll talk to him after the race is over. Well, up next, our ESPN colleague, David Hobbs, formerly from England, now resides up in Glendale, Wisconsin, the 1971 SCCA Formula 5000 champion and the 83 SCCA Trans Am champion. Of course, he finished 5th as Johnny Rutherford's McLaren teammate. and 74 Indy 500. He is one fine road racer. Let's see what he can do with that concrete wall up there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, he does have one fine sense of humor, too.
Well, now let's find out what that gesture meant. JR is standing by with Dave Wilson.
JR, I keep hearing down here in the pit area about some gesture that you made in the car. Apparently you forgot there was a camera in the car. What happened?
No, it wasn't anything obscene. I just thumbed my nose at them a little bit. I knew they were looking. Of course, it was after I got the checkered, and I went around the backstretch, and I happened to think the camera was in that car, so I just thought I'd see if it was on. Evidently, it was.
A little special message for Gary and Larry up there?
No, just for everybody, you know, with the Fastmasters in general.
Well, you didn't qualify all that well, but you've been having a great time.
Oh, wait, thanks a lot. Took the words right out of my mouth. No, it wasn't a very good qualifying, but the racing's not over yet, and it was, you know, I just got out there, and the first lap was a throwaway. I got in too hard, and all of the things you're not supposed to do. The second one, I started settling down, and, you know, so we'll just have to see what happens.
Well, excuse my critique, but there's a ton of JR fans here. They know they're going to be pulling for you in the final.
Well, I hope so. Thank you.
Back up to the top side.
Well, David Hobbs' first lap at 3:4.4, and I think it's interesting to note that with all the experience these guys have, they still get just a tad uptight and can overdrive it and make some slight mistakes when they qualify.
Gary, they get a whole bunch uptight. I mean, this is a lot of money. This is the big dance, man. They're ready to go. And that last lap that Hobbs had was exactly the same as Rutherford, so he wants to improve on that real bad this time around.
Let's see if he can as he takes the checkered flag from Bill Carey, our USAC midget starter, 3:4.352. So yes, he does improve with 3:4.352.
Well, it was a pretty good lap. You know, David's had a little trouble. He wasn't one of the fastest 5 or 6. He was critiquing himself for what he was doing. That puts him in 5th spot right now. And I know he wanted very badly to improve on his position yesterday, and I think he did a great job of that.
Well, once again, they don't get paid for qualifying. They get paid for racing. And then coming up next is Bob Aiken out of New York. He shared the overall winning car in the Sebring 12 Hours in 79 and 86, and second and GTP class winner at Sebring in 1983. And, you know, he hasn't changed all that much. Lost just a little hair in front.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Ringo, doesn't he?
I'm glad he's not listening to you, Rice. All right, well, of course, he transferred out of that first week of preliminaries when Ed the Ace McCullough surprised everybody and won, and Bob was second that night.
That's right. Aiken, of course, he's been around a long, long time. He runs the road courses really well. He had a pretty good time through the road course section and was pretty fast through the oval section of the racetrack last night. But he's going to be looking to move up in that lineup. He wants, you know, the main thing is to finish in the top 3 in your preliminary race, and they all want to start in that top 3. They want to be one of the top 6 qualifiers.
Yeah, the top 3 will advance from each of the qualifiers, so we'll have 6 drivers for the 12-lap feature here. There's a look as he goes through the corner. The time to beat once again, and he probably will not beat that time at 3:3.233. That's a sizzling time for George. But right now, he'd like to be in the top 3 or 4 guys.
That's right. He ran a 3:4.18 last night. That was his best lap of the evening. And once again, he did a great job, but he just wasn't quite as quick as they were.
Hey, Benny, what do you think?
Hey, what is this Hobbs knobbing?
Well, that was Formula One's attempt at Benny buffing a few years ago when we, on the Formula One circuit, we used to do Hobbs knobbing with some of the locals, yeah?
Well, those Europeans are going to be very disappointed in you. You didn't outrun these guys.
I know. I'm really disappointed myself. I don't know what went wrong. I couldn't get into second gear down at that chicane, and it's the first time I've driven these cars. I haven't been able to select the gear. Don't know what up.
Well, did you tell the Jaguar engineers about that?
I told the Jaguar engineers. They're looking at it now.
Okay, back to you guys.
Well, right now, Bob Aiken turns in a time that's good for 5th quick at 3:4.328. We'll watch him negotiate the final corner and take the checkered flag as he'll qualify for one of the preliminary heat races this evening. And the second lap is turned in at 3:4.126. 3:4.126. And that is still good for 5th position.
And that's quite an improvement over his last night's position as far as qualifiers go, Gary.
Well, we're getting all kinds of work from the guys in the pit area. Let's go down trackside to Dave Despain.
All right, we've seen oval racers, we've seen road racers. We have not yet seen the 2 drag racers. The luck of the draw put Eddie Hill at the tail end of the qualifying line, and there is Ursi, his wife, ready for his attempt. Ed McCullough was scheduled to go earlier, but he backed into the wall hard in practice today. Now, he and Eddie have had a busy weekend. They qualified today up at Brainerd, Minnesota, and I understand we've been invited to a big party. All the drag racers are tuned in to watch Fast Masters, and we're going up there live to join the voice of drag racing, Dave McClellan. Dave, how's the party?
You're right. It is a party, Dave. The grandstands may be empty here at Brainerd in the Champion Auto Stores Nationals, but needless to say, the hospitality area jam-packed. Look at the racers on hand to watch. We've got a row of guys lined up here who have a vested interest in it. You see the bright red shirts, that's the McDonald's team. You see the bright yellow shirts, that's the Pennzoil team. Let's go first to Fuzzy Carter, Eddie Hill's crew chief. What advice would you give Eddie?
Well, he was really pumped up, and I told him pull all the stops out, and then if you had to get tough with it, go ahead and do it.
All right, we'll go to Lee Beard, the crew chief for Ed McCulloch. One thing about it, you don't have to work on that Jaguar tonight.
Well, thank God. We were plenty busy with the dragster today, and we hope that it does a lot better with that Jaguar tonight.
All right, also on hand, Larry Miner, the car owner for Ed McCulloch, his teammate, Cruz Pedregon. Cruz, you're cheering him on.
Yeah, go out and get him, Ace. I think he'll do good.
All right, hopefully if he doesn't hit the wall. Don Prudhomme looking on, wishing maybe it was him. That's the way it is here in Brainerd. We'll look forward to being back with you very shortly, Dave. Let's go back to Indianapolis.
All right, Dave McClellan, one of those technical things. I couldn't hear you, but I could see the smiles on the faces as Eddie Hill goes out for his qualifying run. He is the current point leader in the NHRA Top Fuel standings, and tonight he's trying to win $100 grand here in the Fast Masters Championship. He's on the racetrack, and Gary and Larry are set to call the excitement for the boys in Brainerd and the rest of America. This was the run that made history. This is Eddie Hill in 1988 at Texas Metroplex. First driver to go the quarter mile in under 5 seconds. Now at age 57, he's going for $100 grand. Garen Laird.
Well, he is no stranger to victory lane. 5 times he's won this season in Top Pro, and as Top Fuel that is, and as we told you before, he's now leading the point standings.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, he loved this racing. He kind of thought maybe backed into this a little bit because a couple guys crashed, but he came out here with his race face on this afternoon. They got a few hot laps, he and Ed McCulloch, because they've been running up north, and he had a little trouble.
Well, yeah, he spun, did not hit the wall, kept it off the fence. He did spin in his hot lap session, so he did not get quite the practice perhaps that the guys got yesterday because of his racing commitment. He was tied up with his own racing operation. First lap was 3:5.606. Once again, 3:5.606. Here's a guy that's drag race boats before he moved on the land. That takes some.
He does a little bit of everything. He likes it.
Let's get a comment from Bob Aiken. He's standing by with Dave Wilson.
Bob, you got a big smile on your face. That last time, that was your best time so far.
Well, it was. I've been sort of slugging it out here all weekend, just picking up a little bit every time, and that was a pretty good lap. I think I messed up the infield. It could have been a little better.
Were you surprised by Fulmer going so quick?
No, I always figured he'd be the man to beat, and George is a road racer like us. I know he's fast.
Well, those road races are ready to go when the racing starts happening a little later on. Back up time.
The second lap, as you saw there on the screen, was the quick one for Eddie at 34.708. And now we've got Ed the Ace McCulloch, who won round 1 of the Fast Masters back on June 19th and really surprised a lot of folks. Here's a guy that has done it all in drag racing. Ed has won the U.S. Nationals in funny car competition here at Raceway Park 5 times before switching to Top Fuel, and he won that again in 1992. So right behind us here on the drag strip, he has had a ton of success, and so far in his debut in this type of competition, he's been pretty successful.
I was here last year when he won that Top Fuel out here, and I'll tell you what, he was spectacular. That thing at night when the flames come out of those dragsters is spectacular.
You know, we do a lot of match racing. Maybe we could talk to Dave and see if he couldn't set up a drag race for us.
Yeah, right.
A little match race.
Right. I'll tell you what, if they trust these guys with those $750,000 Jaguars, maybe they'd let us do that. I don't know.
Test a Top Fueler.
That's right.
Well, we'll talk to Ed and Eddie Hill after this race is over this evening. All right, our final qualifier this evening for the Fast Masters. The green flag is out, so he'll have 2 laps to get it in. Now, once again, because of qualifying at Brainerd, he was not here to practice last night. He only got a couple of practice laps back into the fence up there in turn 4.
Yeah, and he was out here on Monday running an E-Mod like we saw him do before his first race, and he also backed into the fence. So he's had a little trouble down there in that 3 and 4 corner trying to get through that thing fast and keep the race
car straight. But I tell you what, realistically, though, it is so tough to go from drag racing, what he is doing, even at the speed they're running, to come here and run turn right.
Well, it's very difficult. I mean, you're changing gears. I mean, literally changing gears here, and there it's a whole different ball game. It takes a different kind of concentration, I'm sure.
First lap is 3:5.058. Once again, 3:5.058 for Ed the Ace.
But I got to tell you, he probably surprised me more than anybody in this whole competition. When he came out here that very first week and just flat blew off some of the best race car drivers in the world. And nobody, including me or anybody in this booth, I think, ever expected him to do that well.
As you slap me on the shoulder when you say in this booth, well, you're absolutely right. He surprised everybody, and perhaps even surprised himself just a little bit. He didn't back into it. He led that one race, I think, every lap.
Absolutely, absolutely just blew him away.
And he picks it up the second lap. The second lap, the quick one for the Ace at 3:4.676. 3:4.676. And that should make him the 9th fast qualifier.
Well, those two guys were a bit of a disadvantage. They didn't have all day yesterday to practice like most of these guys did, and as a result, because of their commitment to drag racing, they're going to have to start in the back of their heat races. It's going to make it
they had to
pretty
qualify this afternoon before they flew in here.
Exactly.
And then practice for a few laps this evening, so they were at a distinct disadvantage. But they are in the show, and once again, let's take a look at how they qualified. We're going to come back and have a lot of midget competition. Oh, look at the moon. Well, at least it's not a full moon. George Fulmer quick at 3:32.33. Then it's Bobby Yu, Parnelli, Bryan, and Bob Aiken. There's your top 5 in qualifying. We have 2 qualifiers. There's 6 through 10 with Hobbs, Pearson, Rutherford, McCullough, and Hill. We're coming back with the midgets.
Hi, this is Paul Page, and this weekend the Indy cars are at the beautiful Road America circuit at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And in qualifying today, Paul Tracy had a noticeable limp as he climbed in his car because of an accident on Friday. But nevertheless, Paul Tracy came back as the fastest qualifier to take the pole for tomorrow's run. We'll have coverage here on ESPN of the Indy cars at Elkhart Lake at 2 o'clock Eastern.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. We'll be looking for it. We'll be watching you tomorrow. We've got midgets on the racetrack. We'll take a quick look at the rest of the qualifying rundown from up at Elkhart Lake. Tracy, great run. Beats Mansell for the pole. Nigel starts alongside Mario and Raul Boisel in the second row. Emerson Fittipaldi qualified 5th fastest alongside Al Jr., Goodyear, Gordon, Smith, and Rahal round out the top 10 when they drop the green tomorrow on the Haviland 200. Benny Parsons is hanging around in the drag race pits here for Fastmasters. Benny.
Hey, Dave, I'm with a couple of guys that are used to going straight. Is it confusing having to turn left and right?
There's a lot more work to it. There's a lot more to do. That wall down there is really intimidating.
And it took you 34 seconds to get around here. How long did it take you to go down the drag strip?
Well, not quite that long. If took us that long, we'd be out of here a long time ago. But it's a lot of fun.
About 5 seconds it takes you?
Yeah, 4.85 seconds this weekend.
Wow, this is a pretty neat deal. You enjoyed this?
Oh, this has been a blast, you know. Unfortunately, we didn't get to run with you the first session, but we kept a good eye on you.
Yeah, you saw me spin around, did you? Is that what you're trying to bring up?
Well, I didn't want to mention it, but I'm sure the fans saw it.
Do you see it, Eddie?
Yeah, I noticed it. Right over there.
I can't catch a break. I tell you, we're ready for the first USAC Midget Show. Back to the top with Gary and Larry.
You got to love the camaraderie among all these Fastmasters. They're having a great time out here, like kids at a concession go-kart track. Let's take a look now at the fastest 6 qualifiers. These guys are locked in. The Steve Lewis Performance Racing Team, they go 1-2 with Fox and Stevie Reeves. Then Mike Bliss, Kenny Irwin, Tony Stewart, and Andy Michener. Those are the top 6 qualifiers. They are locked in to the first 6 starting positions for the 40-lap Mel Kenyon Classic.
Yes, and now this race, we're going to take the top 9 and fill in the rest of the field out of this and the next semi.
In row 1, Danny Dryden, number 3, Randy Talsma in 61. In the second row, on the inside, Johnny Parsons, 11, Chuck Leary in 31. Then it's Brian Gerster and Ted Hines. We move on through the field with Runyon and Bowie. Then it's Tracy Hines and Dick St. John in row 5. In the 6th row, Jeff Sands and Richard Warrens. In the 7th row, we have Chris Schultz and Craig Bradburn. We're about to go green. The black number 3 if Dan Dryden will bring them down. There's the green flag. 15 laps, 9 drivers will transfer.
Dryden got a terrible start. The race car didn't take off when he got on the throttle, and he dropped clear back to third. But that's Parsons in that red car down on the inside, going for the lead already.
Johnny Parsons looks to the inside of the veteran from Meridian, Idaho. That is Randy Tolsma. He won a race here earlier this season in a stirring battle with Mike Bliss. There is a side-by-side shootout. Oh, there's contact as Parsons goes by and takes the lead.
Boy, Tolsma had sparks flying off of 4, and then there was smoke flying down the middle of the straightaway, so he had all kinds of trouble from the 4 down to the starting line.
Parsons starts to pull away the lead, but here comes Danny Dryden trying to take second position, and he puts Tolsma in the fence.
He just went right up there. Tolsma just tried to move over, and when he did, that thing slid up and put him right into the fence. But all he did was white sidewall the tires a little bit. He's back on the throttle.
They lost 2 positions to Leary and Gerster. Gerster was last year's USAC Midget Rookie of the Year. And there is a look at Johnny Parsons.
Yeah, I hear that Tolsma had a little trouble in Springfield, too. He got into the fence over there. So it hasn't been a good start for a good day for Randy Tolsma.
Well, once again, the first 9 will transfer onto the 40-lap Mel Kenyon Classic to honor the 7-time USAC Midget champion. And right now, Parsons is well out in front. There's a good battle developing for second. There is Dryden running second in the black number 3. Then Leary rides in third, the black 31. And Gerster there in the yellow 21 rides in fourth.
Hey, Parsons has checked out, man. He's got a quarter of a straightaway lead on Danny Dryden, and Dryden doesn't seem to...
Quarter, it's up to a half straightaway now.
He really, whatever he did between that race of champions and this race, really got that thing dialed in.
Well, of course, he's driving that Vogler-powered white chassis. Now, right now, the top 6 qualifiers are all in the Beast chassis, but he's going to see what he can do with that white.
Well, that race car has been really fast. That thing makes good power. Parsons drives it hard. It's a good combination for them. Running in second and third. This is Dryden in second. That's Leary in third position. Brian Gerster in the yellow cars in fourth. So everybody's still struggling because every position they gain now starts them farther up in the main event.
Well, that's Randy Tolsma back there in the Spies Hecker car, number 61. He lost 2 positions when he brushed the wall. Oh, there's a spin on the track. That's Dryden, and he was right in front of a pack, and everybody makes it by the low side. Danny Dryden, that's the car that he has built. He has had trouble with that chassis all season long. That car has been very twitchy.
Well, he's, you know, he loves that race car. He loves his own ingenuity. He has a tough time admitting that sometimes things aren't just right. But he will admit that sometimes he just messes up on the setup, and he might have done just that in that particular race and caused him to spin. It's too bad. He was running pretty good.
You know, it was just last year on this weekend. He had that violent crash at Springfield. Certainly nothing like that, and he climbs out of the Gilbury pub entry.
He went in there, Gary, got a little sideways. He saved it, he corrected, but he brought it back, and when he did it, got real sideways and backed her right in the fence with that left rear. Don't think it had a lot of damage, but he hit the thing pretty hard when you're going that fast. Right there you see, he's already around. He backs her into that left rear. Could have bent the rear axle, and if he did, it's major damage.
Yeah, that gets expensive when you put it back together. 5 laps are now complete. We have 10 laps to go. This is the first of 2 qualifying heat races for the USAC Copenhagen Skull Midgets from Indianapolis Raceway Park. The top 5 right there. Stay with us.
Kenny Parsons, an interested spectator here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, probably a little discouraged here. JP had checked out, and then the yellow. Next week, we'll be racing under the lights again. That's right, it's not Saturday Night Thunder. In fact, it's the Bud 500 live from Bristol, Tennessee. We'll hit the air at 7 o'clock Eastern time with Speed Week, and then come back with live and flag-to-flag coverage. Benny Parsons working again on the weekends. We love that. They're going to restart this thing, and everybody's got one last shot at Parsons here. He was gone, but the yellow has bunched it all back up. We'll go back topside to Gary and Larry.
I like that terminology, checked out. Let's see what they can check out now as they go back to green. 5 laps in, 10 laps to go, only 9 transfer, and Parsons leads the parade off the 4th corner.
Well, 10 laps is a long way to go, Gary. There's a lot of time left in this race. We'll see if John, in fact, can pull right back out. If he holds it on this first couple of corners, he's got a real good chance, but Leary didn't want to have that happen.
Now, the Leary construction car rides in 2nd position right there, and right behind him, Brian Gerster, who was last year's USAC Rookie of the Year in the model mold and machine company. Gertie?
Yeah, it looks like Leary's doing a little better job of keeping up this time. Gerster in that orange, that yellow car, keeping right up with Leary. Looks like Leary slipped a little bit. Gerster had a notion to go under, but couldn't do it.
Well, Gerster now takes a look to the inside, going into 3. He may have no, he can't get the job done.
This kid's done a great job this year, Gary. He's done a fantastic job, but he hasn't learned to pass real well. He's not really ready to go in and give those guys a shot. Just as I say that, he runs in under him again, but can't quite make it stick.
Well, once again, he stepped up in equipment this year. We've talked about it earlier this season. He went to the Beast chassis with the Gertie powered Glenn, that's a remarkable combination. We've seen a lot of success with that combination.
Well, of course he has. He's got better equipment, but he has done a great job driving that race car, too. As we see Randy Tolzman in that white car, fourth in line right back there, who's giving him a little pressure right now, trying to move up.
Is it possible that right now Tolzman could run faster than Gerster and Leary?
Well, it's possible that he is, and you just can't quite find a way around him. You know, the groove is very narrow. The real fast way around the racetrack is a pretty narrow line on this racetrack, and you've got to figure out a way to go around the guy in a part of the racetrack that's not quite as fast.
Well, as we watch that battle back there in second, third, fourth, and fifth, Parsons has indeed started to open up the gap again.
All right, he has moved up, and Gerster in third position has fallen back just a little ways behind Leary, and Tolzma, though, is really giving him a lot of pressure.
Once again, these guys will line up on the inside of the rows when we line up the 24 cars for the 40-lap Mel Canyon Classic. These are guys that did not qualify in the top 6 positions. Right now, they're chasing the veteran Johnny Parsons, the 48-year-old from Indianapolis. I'll tell you what, it'll be nice to see him in a couple of years for the Fast Masters.
Yes, it will. Look at Tolzma, though. He's trying a little bit of everything. Right behind him is Hines in that black car. He's running fifth in line right now, right behind Tolzma. He, too, can't find a way around. He's looking. He's trying high, he's trying low, but he just can't quite find the speed.
Now, we have not seen that many passes down low tonight. In the past, we've seen a lot of the use of the second groove. Parsons almost got the fence right there.
Parsons is driving the wheels off that thing. He's got her all over the racetrack trying to go fast, but he's got to keep her straight and finish the race. That's the main objective right now.
Look at third, fourth, and fifth right now. Parsons out in front. Leary rides in second, but there's the best battle on the racetrack, and you're watching it right now into turn 2 off the corner down the backstretch. They have completed 11 laps. 4 laps remain.
Gerster's running the race car pretty straight. Tolzma's running the race car pretty straight, and so is Hines in that black car running third in that line. But none of them seem to be able to get any kind of advantage to move up. It's just kind of wait and see, try to move one way or the other, but they just can't do it.
One of the Fast Masters talked about the groove and what effect the midgets had on it. What is affecting the fact that we don't seem to have that second groove right now?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what has caused that, Gary. They did put a little VHT on the racetrack in some parts of it, and maybe that has had an effect on the way the racetrack, the race cars are handled.
Well, there's the white flag for Johnny Parsons. Leary rides in second. There's the battle for third with Gerster in the yellow 21. Tolzman the white 61, and the black 25 is Ted Hines. Ted, the 3-time USAC Speed Rome midget champion. And the checkered flag will come out this time around, for there he is, Johnny Parsons in car number 11.
He's running that race car pretty sideways, and there it goes. He just won the race, and the rest of them finished pretty much as they've been running the last 5 laps.
Well, let's go down trackside and find out what happened to Danny Drynan. Benny?
They're working on the car. Danny, what happened over there?
I loosened the car up. We were too tight in the racing champions. It burned the right front tire off, so I loosened it up, and I went a little too far. It was on the borderline, and I lost it, you know. Trying to catch Parsons down there. I don't like to finish second or anything, so I was going for it.
How much damage?
It looks like we're okay so far. Broke a Heim joint on the radius rod and bent the back bumper. If the driving line's okay, we'll be all right.
Okay, Danny, good luck.
You know, I have a question, and we've talked about this before as we take a look at trying to work on the car. There's a look at Johnny Parsons. When you're going to qualify for the feature, you've got a strong second place position. He says, I never like to finish second. Sometimes it's wiser to take that second position, not tear the race car up.
Well, sometimes, but I'll tell you what, it's hard to tell a race car driver that you ever want to finish second, let me tell you.
All right, if we take a look at the top 10, only 9 will transfer. And we're coming back now with the first of our Fast Masters heat races. This will be interesting. Stay with us.
Ray, Roy, Steve, Roach, wish you were here. Glad you're watching tonight. Saturday Night Thunder. The Thunderheads have all gathered at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And one of the big appeals tonight is the Fast Masters Championship. Yeah, I'm in victory lane, but they're not going to let me talk to Johnny Parsons. There's a reason for that. We have the first of the Fast Masters heat. Oh, we're going to talk to Johnny, but just to hold your horses. We're here for the Fast Masters Championship, the Jaguar XJ220. This is $750,000 worth of hardware and a high-tech presentation of the automobile because it is A, the fastest production car on the planet, and B, it carries on a great Jaguar tradition of lovely, lovely lines here backed up with high performance. Mid-engine rear drive, 2-passenger specialty sports coupe is the way they describe it, but the big news is the horsepower, 542. Here it is on the racetrack, ready for the first of the Fastmaster qualifying heat race. Now, here is the reason that they're not going to let me do the interview. Instead, it's It's the Parsons and Parsons Show.
Hey, do we look like brothers or cousins? We're not even related, are we?
People ask me that all the time, Benny, but he's a brother in a way.
This guy, you grew up in where, California?
Well, until I was 8 years old, but I've been around Indianapolis here for a long time.
And I grew up in North Carolina, but people have always asked me the same questions. Am I related to the Johnny Parsons? Congratulations, great victory.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, any win's a great one. Well,
and a couple more years, you're going to be out running in the Fastmasters.
I'm looking forward to that. I was hoping to see you run the Fastmasters tonight.
Well, I was here earlier. I didn't get to come back. I didn't get to come back this time.
Trying too hard, maybe, huh?
I think I was trying a little bit too hard.
I know what that's like. I've done that before.
Can you do it tonight?
Well, we're trying not to work too hard, but we want to thank the sponsors, Print Express, for this particular trophy and that win in that heat race, and the Copenhagen Skull people for sponsoring the Midget Series. They help us out a lot.
Okay, guys, we're ready with Heat 1, the Fastmasters, back up top.
All right, once again, these guys will have to qualify in the top 3 or finish the top 3, and they will then transfer on to their 12-lap main event. So this will be interesting. Let's take a look at the starting lineup there. As you can see them negotiate that one left-hander out on turn 2, and they head down the backstretch. They're in their individual cars now with their names on the side of them. And, of course, starting up front on the inside of row 1 is George Fulmer, who was the fast qualifier. And look at that, alongside Parnelli Jones, Bob Aiken, and alongside was David Pearson and Ed McCullough. So once again, these guys...
It says odd qualifiers. Gary, that means these are the guys that qualified 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So this is, they took every other one, put them in every other heat race, and in these races, they're going to start straight up.
Of course, and sometimes in racing, the odd... never mind. I won't get into that. So you're right. These are the 1, 2, 1, 3, and on down. But let's go back. I know we've got a good audience there in Brainerd. Dave McClellan, you're turning.
Dave, let me tell you what's going on here in Brainerd. Everybody's got it figured out. They qualified number 9 and number 10. The reason for that is so they'd be in separate heat races and both could advance to the finals. Talking about qualifying, they have had some great action here at Brainerd and the Champion Auto Stores Nationals. In qualifying today, Eddie Hill put his Pennzoil dragster into the number 2 spot. He ran in a elapsed time of 4.85 seconds, trailing the number 1 qualifier, Scott Coletta, by only 1/100th of a second. A tremendous run by Eddie Hill. Then Ed McCullough came in and qualified in the 12th spot with a 5:06. So they've spent the entire day doing qualifying. Right now, the crowd's watching. We're ready for the heat race. Let's go back to Indy.
Yeah, we're racing a single file start for the qualifiers, a side-by-side start for the feature. And, of course, Fulmer out in front in car number 7. Jones rides in second.
Well, Fulmer and Jones are out there 1 and 2. Aiken's the man in the bubble. He's the guy that's got Pearson on his bumper. And I'll tell you what, whenever you got David Pearson on your bumper, you better be looking in the mirrors, boy.
Well, right now, Fulmer is really taking off, but a sizable gap between his position and that of Parnelli. Parnelli right now rides in second, and look at that gap. The second, third, and fourth cars are right together on the racetrack.
Yeah, I got to feel like Parnelli had a little trouble with his gearing or something, getting the gears. Look at Pearson on the outside of Aiken going in there.
Can he make it? No, he can't do it. He almost loses that position. Oh, that was a gutsy move on the inside of a left-hander, and he lost a lot of parcel of property right there.
He sure did, but I tell you what, that was a gutsy move. He knew he couldn't make it on the inside. The outside, he had to give her a shot, but he got on the binders, so he didn't get out there. It's a little muddy out there. If he gets off the track, he's going to be stuck, so he had to get on the binders and let him have the position back.
Once again, an 8-lap qualifier. The first 3 finishers will transfer to the main event and run for $100,000. And there is a look at Parnelli Jones, the 1963 Indy 500 champion. That car's a whole lot more expensive than old Calhoun that he drove to victory that year.
Yeah, it sure is. But I'll tell you what, he's driving that baby every bit as hard as he drove old Calhoun. And look at McCullough. He's qualified the slowest qualifier in his group, but he's right on the bumper of Pearson coming off of that corner. He's, I think he's a little better at the racing than he is at the qualifying. He's not used to that qualifying stuff at all.
Well, Fulmer has the big lead. He's got almost a straightaway advantage right there over Jones. But look at the battle back there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And here comes the number 5 car of Pearson on the outside.
And McCullough, every one of those last 3 guys smoked the tires going in there. They were all trying to outbrake the other one, and McCullough was the big loser. Those other 2 guys did get him wounded, did get him turned, but McCullough just couldn't make it, and that's really going to hurt his chances of getting into the finals.
Well, he drops way back with that miscue. As we take a look at the ace through the chicane section out onto turn 2 of the oval.
Look at this battle up here we got coming off of 3 and 4. Pearson is caught back up with Bob Aiken. He tried him a little bit on the outside. Look at Aiken protect his position. That's the last position that makes it into the final. He pulled down to protect that position, and Pearson was really working on him. He had him a little bit on the high side going through 3 and 4 down there.
How wide can a jag be?
Well,
we're going to find out.
That's what you call a jag-zag, man. Instead of a zigzag, he did a jag-zag coming down that main straightaway to keep him from going down underneath him.
Well, of course, he was working the outside. Pearson kept trying the outside going to that first corner. Let's see what he tries now as they work on lap number 5. This is the battle for the third and final transfer position.
Yeah, Pearson really gains on him coming off through the middle of 3 and 4 and getting down into 1, but he doesn't seem to be getting off of this last part of the road course as quick. He seems to get through right here pretty good, but coming off of this next corner,
Aiken gets sideways.
That'll help Pearson. That'll get him.
He slid to the point that Pearson couldn't take advantage of because he's blocking the racetrack.
Well, he did block the racetrack a little bit. You can see here Pearson lost 2 or 3 car lengths because he had to get out of the throttle too. But look how much deeper he gets into 3. He really gets into 3 deep. He's on the outside.
On the outside, coming off of 4. Hang on, David Pearson, the Silver Fox.
Oh,
on the outside. Can he make it?
Oh, can he get her stopped? Can he get her out? He made it. He made it.
He does it. The fans are going wild here in the main grandstand at Raceway Park as the Silver Fox makes a daring move on the outside. He makes it work. He's up to 3rd, and he could be on his way to the finals.
Man, that was probably one of the best, cleanest, nicest, slickest passes we've seen in this series since we've been here. What a job.
White flag out now for your leader, and that is George Fulmer, our fast qualifier this evening, who has picked up $2,500 from GTE in the front runner award. There is Parnelli Jones back there in 3rd, or in 2nd, but here,
look at Pearson.
Pearson to close him in on Jones.
He says 3rd ain't good enough. I got to get up there a little farther.
Now, is he going to try the same move on the outside going through 3 and 4? Is he going to be secure with 3rd position?
I don't know. Better safe than sorry is my motto, but we'll see what he thinks.
Of course, he has a mirror on that car. You can see the advantage he has over Bob Aiken. He has secured 3rd position. I think he's going to be content to ride back there in 3rd. And here is your checkered flags. George Fulmer takes the victory. There's his fiancee, Arlene, his son. A big hug there. His family in town from both Fort Wayne, Indiana and Orange County, California. So George, the fast qualifier, takes the first qualifying heat race, and he will transfer to the main event that pays the big bucks. Of course, so will Parnelli Jones and David Pearson.
Well, I got to tell you, that pass Pearson made was one gutsy move. We've seen other guys try to run 2 abreast down there in 3 and 4, and it hasn't worked very often. He didn't have a lot of room, but he kept the race car straight. Aiken gave him just enough room. Watch this move. He drove that thing in there real high, real high. Aiken was down low on the racetrack trying to protect position. Look, Aiken moves up, but he just leaves him barely enough room. Hey, finally, I think they actually touched a little bit. That's when Aiken got out of the gas and just let him go. I think he thought he was going to crash that thing. Man, oh man.
We don't do that in road racing.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that was slick. That was tough. And I'll tell you what, I had to get both their hard started.
That'll make the highlight reel, won't it?
That certainly will. It certainly will.
Well, Fulmer picks up the victory as George will now, well, he's going to have a great starting position inside the front row for this $100,000 go. And, of course, we have the second 15-lap USAC Copenhagen Skull Midget qualifier. We have the second Fastmaster qualifier. And, of course, we're going to have a chance to talk to both David Pearson and George Fulmer and perhaps even Parnelli Jones. A whole lot more racing coming your way on the Mel Kenyon Classic night from Raceway Park.
The sizzling duo of Mansell and Mario is hot for the championship. Next stop, a 4-mile road course with high-speed turns. The Texaco Havoline 200. Tomorrow, live on ESPN. Thursday night means football on ESPN. Got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Minnesota Vikings at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 on the West Coast. You're going to want to check that out. We got midget racing coming. Got to do this in a hurry. Best candidate right now for the big trophy, George Fulmer. Congratulations. Great race.
Well, it was a great race, and we've got one more to go, so stick around and see what the action really comes out like.
You're eager to change cars, you tell me. You made that one look pretty good.
Well, I didn't like the quality of the car used for qualifying, and I wasn't too happy with this one, but maybe the third one will be a charm, but then I'll probably lose.
He's on a roll. He's been quickest all weekend, but he missed a great race. We're going to find out about that as we go to Benny Parsons.
Hey, these two guys were involved in the best pass we've seen in Fastmasters. David on the outside going off turn 4.
Well, I had to do it on the outside because he was taking the inside, and so wasn't no way to go on the inside of it.
Bob, did you think you tried on the outside?
Well, I knew sooner or later he was going to go on one side or the other, and I was getting a terrible shot off the banking, and I knew he had a head of steam up, and so I was taking the inside line to just make it as hard as possible. He tried a couple of times and didn't make it, and then sooner or later he made this magnificent pass, just great, and he took off. That was it.
Can you catch Fulmer?
I don't know. Of course, I'm gonna have to get another car, I believe, because that one there pushed too bad. That just couldn't run through 3 and 4 like I wanted to. But what I understand, we are going to draw again for the different cars.
Okay, guys, up in the booth, that's exactly what Fulmer said. He wants a different car. Maybe Pearson will get his. He can get Pearson's.
Well, I'm satisfied with the car I drove out here. I'm going to drive it home, Rice. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for our second qualifier now for the Mel Kenyon Classic. In the front row, Steve Barth carries a camera this evening, and Tice Carlson starts alongside in 41. Then it's Kenneth Nichols and Jim Hettinger in the second row. In the third row, Terry Goff, who won a midget race last night at the Speedrome, and Mel Kenyon, who we honor this evening. In the fourth row, Mike Hurston, Paige Jones, Parnelli's youngest kid. In the fifth row, on the inside, Perry Younts, also with the camera. You're riding with Perry right now. And John Murphy outside. Then it's Brian Sievers and Ronnie John Cox. In the seventh row, David Furman and Mark Amenda. And the green flag is out. It is flying. Carlson takes the lead at number 41.
Carlson took the lead. They're right behind him is Hettinger, who's already challenging in that yellow car down on the inside, but couldn't get around Tice Carlson.
Barth runs in third, and there is Kenyon, the yellow number 3 car. We honor him this evening, the 7-time USAC midget champion. He's being challenged right now by the AL81 car of Kenneth Nichols.
He's got a brand new sponsor on that race car with Kroger tonight. Kroger stepped in to take advantage of Mel Kenyon in the Classic and maybe future things too.
Well, there is a pass for position as the AL81 car on the inside of Mel, and here comes Paige Jones in the blue number 6, the Pottermobile, the second Potter car this evening.
Yeah, Hettinger's pulled out to a pretty good lead over Tice Carlson there in that red and white car in second position. Barth on the inside, and Kenyon on the outside just goes right on around him.
And Kenyon moves to third position. Here comes Nichols on the inside.
Kenyon looks like he's doing the same thing. Mark Alderson talked about the young guys don't know the outside pass. Kenyon just made the outside pass look relatively easy going through 1 and 2 down there on the other end.
Well, you talk about a guy making the outside move. Maybe he was watching Pearson.
Yeah, that's right. Pearson made it look pretty well. It didn't make it look easy, but it made it look exciting.
Well, right now, as this battle continues for second, your leader starts to pull away. There's that good look at the battle as Kenyon on the high side goes around Tice Carlson for second. And now you ride with Steve Barth. Carlson ride back in fourth position.
Barth is in fourth position. Carlson right in front of him. You can see Carlson's a little loose when he gets into the corner. The race car gets a little bit sideways when he drives it in there. Right there he does it again. See the back end coming out? The race car gets a little bit sideways when he does that. He can't turn. Look at this. Paige Jones down underneath Barth.
Paige Jones, of course, winner a couple of weeks ago at the Belleville Nationals. He has been very hot. He won the Eagle Nationals. He's one of the hottest drivers right now on dirt, but of course this is pavement.
Yeah, he hasn't run near as much pavement as he has dirt in these in the midget cars over the last few weeks. But he's in the Potter car, the Rouse Muffler car, very, very good, as we've seen Mike Bliss win several races with.
And we see Nichols go around the... Which car did he just go around there?
That was Steve Barth that he just went around. Yeah. The AL81 car, right-way grinding car, just moved up. He's right behind Paige Jones now. Jones right now, that's Carlson in the red and white car. Paige Jones in the blue car, and the green car, the right-way car, is, of course, Kenneth Nichols.
Paige's mom, Judy, is here, and she said, I do not like to watch Paige drive a midget. I never watch him drive a midget. Anything else I'll watch, I just don't like him to run a midget.
Well, you know, I feel for Judy. I mean, my family has 2 boys in it, too, and my wife goes through heck living with all those guys, so I know that Judy's probably done the same thing over the last several years. Has to put up with a lot of things that women don't always want to put up with.
That's the battle for third right there. Third, fourth, and fifth right together on the racetrack on your screen down the backstretch. It's Carlson, it's Paige Jones, and it's Kenneth Nichols, and watch him work that steering wheel. Now look at Paige, looks to the high side.
Paige Jones been going to school on him. He watched him up there a while ago. He saw Kenyon go around him on the outside. Carlson cuts down real low coming off the corners. That race car doesn't feel good up real high, so Paige is going to try him on the outside. He just doesn't have quite enough room. Whoa, he almost bumped him right there.
They almost got together and looked at the AL81 car because Kenneth Nichols had a real good view of that. There's the Meineke car, Jim Hettinger. I tell you what, Hettinger is so smooth keeping the RPMs up in that car.
Yes, he runs that race car just about as perfectly as you can run one of those race cars. Very, very smooth in the race car. But look at this battle. We got Paige Jones in the blue car. He's looking everywhere. nowhere to try to get around Tice Carlson. Tice Carlson just running straight and right smack in the middle of the racetrack. No room on top, no room down underneath.
Well, Tice is racing a good run right now.
Exactly, that's what I mean. He's not running as fast as either one of those guys right behind him, but he's using the racetrack perfectly. He's not giving them very much room at top, and they can't go underneath him. So he's using up enough racetrack that nobody can get under. But look right here, Nichols on the bottom side of Paige Jones.
Well, he's waited long enough. He says, I think I'll take a position. So there's a look at Tice Carlson. He's going to have some pressure from two guys back there in Jones and Nichols as they complete lap 10 of a 15-lap qualifier. The first 9 finishers will transfer to our 40-lap Mel Kenyon Classic. Mel right now is up in second.
Page had to have a lot of confidence that Nichols wasn't going to come up and shut the door on him because he stayed right on the outside of him, and Nichols did give him plenty of room. Made a nice, clean pass.
Nichols has won something like 3 events here on this oval as he looks to the inside of Carlson. Carlson gets very sideways, and there goes Nichols up to 3rd position, and he sets sail for Kenyon, and I don't think he'll have a chance to run him down because we're working lap 12 right now.
Yes, Nichols did a great job. He ran right smooth. He followed those guys for a lot of laps, and as soon as they made a mistake, man, he was there to take advantage of it. Moved right into 3rd. Kenyon's doing a great job running in 2nd spot, and of course, Hettinger way out in front.
Well, the 2 camera cars are right together on the racetrack. Perry Younts in the 51 car. There's Steve Barth in the 14.
Yeah, Steve Barth must be encountering some kind of trouble because he's moved way back from that front row starting position, far back in the pack quite a ways.
There's a look at the Meineke car, number 5, Jim Hettinger out of Michigan. He has won twice here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, including that feature for Volkswagen a couple of years ago.
Kenyon just blew the engine. That's Mel Kenyon coming off turn 4, just blew the engine of that race car. The next to last lap. What a tough break for the race. This man was named, or the race was named after this guy.
You'd think maybe somebody in the pit area could give him a ride.
Boy, I tell you what.
Start at the back of the pack.
They might do that, but it's a tough break. Here we see Jimmy Hettinger taking the checker flag, but tough break for Mel Kenyon here in the Skoal Copenhagen Classic.
So Hettinger takes the victory. With Mel dropping out, second then would go to the 81 car of Nichols, and 3rd Tice Carlson, 4th Paige Jones. So once again, only the top 9 will transfer, and they will comprise a 24-car starting field, and there has to be a dejected 7-time champion. This guy has won 111 national events, some 14 regional events. Mr. Midget, sponsored this evening by Kroger, and there is a dejected Mel Kenyon.
Well, he's got to be pretty dejected. You're right. You know, you come to a race, especially a name that carries your name, a great race such as this with all these people. I mean, this is one of the best crowds we've seen out here at Raceway Park. And to have this happen when you're running so well and have a chance to run second in your own in a semi-feature like that, tough break. Nothing you can do, though.
Well, a push truck is over there, and they'll bring Mel back to the pit area. Like I say, perhaps he'd have to start at the back of the pack, but maybe, just maybe, somebody would be a sportsman and say, hey, Mel, it's your race. Take my race car, start at the back of the pack because the car's already qualified. So there's a look at Jim Hettinger. He takes the laurels of victory here in our second qualifier. We come back with another Fastmasters qualifier from Raceway Park.
The last time the midgets at IRP were the Saturday Night Thunder feature, you didn't get to hear from the guy who won the race. That's because it took about an hour afterward to sort out a scoring snafu, and Jim Hettinger didn't get to do the winner interview. We'll make up for that tonight. Congratulations on 3 or 4 weeks ago, first of all.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Let's talk about this one tonight. You really made that one look easy. That car's working very, very well. You come from 8th in the feature. Can you win it from back there?
Oh, I believe we can. The last time here, we did win it, and we won it from the 8th spot, and I believe that we can... I believe we can win it, absolutely. We weren't only good qualifying, we made some changes in the car in that race, and that helped a lot. I just want at this time thank Meineke Mufflers and Bob Bilby, my car owner, Career Shocks, Clint Bruce, and everybody's involved in this. Coletta Flying Service also.
Congratulations, did a great job. If you believe in numerology, look for this guy in victory lane again. He starts 8th for the 2nd time in a row. The name behind me, Mel Kenyon, is all over this place. Mel Kenyon's car is stopped beside his name down on pit road, and it's very unfortunate. The only place his name does not appear right now is on the entry list for the feature. The engine is blown. We'll have more on that in a moment, but right now, let's get to know this man just a little bit better.
Call him Mr. Midget or Miraculous Mel. Either one is entirely appropriate. Mel Kenyon has won the USAC National Midget Championship a record 7 times, and he's captured a phenomenal 111 National Midget features. That's way more than anyone else. A lot of drivers would like to be able to boast 15 finishes of either first or second in feature events. Kenyon has that many in seasonal point rankings. His feature top twos is zeroing in on 250. But the really remarkable thing about all of this is that much of it has been accomplished while missing the fingers of his left hand. It was in a championship race at Langhorne, Pennsylvania in June 1965. Kenyon was involved in a fiery multi-car accident driving one of the last of the Roadsters. He was knocked unconscious as his car burned. He was flown to the U.S. Army Burn Center in San Antonio, Texas, where he was to remain for months. Vowing he would race again, his father and his brother Don designed a special glove he could slip over his now fingerless hand. A rubber grommet sewn into the palm would fit over a stud on the steering wheel so that he would effectively be steering with the palm of his left hand. In March of 1966, he was back racing midgets, and in May, he finished 5th in the Indianapolis 500. Kenyon drove in the 500 8 consecutive years through 1973, finishing within the first 5 in half of them, including 1968 when he came in 3rd. He was beaten only by Bobby Unser and Dan Gurney. Today, Mel's 500 career is long since over. But at a youthful 60, that fabulous career in midgets just keeps on going. The name Kenyon is synonymous with midget racing. They've built numerous cars and serviced them for many of their own rivals, always offering assistance to young and upcoming drivers. Everett Kenyon and his sons Mel and Don have been the backbone of USAC midget racing for over 30 years.
Mel, has to be disappointing. A race named for you, you had to fall out.
It really was, Benny. We had a good transfer spot, and even though I didn't go quick enough qualifying, it's a shame I didn't get the Kroger and the Kelly special in, but we tried, and unfortunately, a piston went away.
Got a little bit too lean?
A little too lean. I could have richened it up, but it was a question mark before the race, and we thought the night might have dried out, but it didn't.
And you got to watch.
I got to watch. Isn't that a shame?
Okay, guys. Round 2, the Jaguars on the racetrack, up to the booth.
Yeah, about $7 million worth of race cars on the backstretch right now as we get ready for our second qualifier. And once again, only the top 3 finishers will transfer. And here they are. These are the even qualifiers. Bobby Unser in car number 6, Brian Redmond in number 3, David Hobbs in 5, Johnny Rutherford in 7, and Eddie Hill in 4. And that will be the lineup for 8 laps.
8 laps, and it's going to be an exciting 8 laps as we see Hobbs and Rutherford starting 3rd and 4th. Hill back there, those are going to be the guys that are kind of fighting it out. I think Unser and Redmond are probably going to try to slide into those first 2 positions and just kind of wait and see if anybody comes to challenge them. If nobody really gets close, they're just going to kind of ride along and do the best they can.
Well, let's quickly go back to Brainerd and Dave McClellan with the big fan club turnout up there to watch the Fast Masters.
Dave, they're here. Look at them. All of them still. All the yellow shirts as well, rooting for Eddie Hill. The Wright Red McDonald's driver may be out, but Eddie Hill is still in, and we're hoping that he can pull off a win here in the heat race, at least get into the finals. The chant here has been Eddie. Right, listen. Eddie, 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 Eddie. So there you hear what they're thinking. Go back now to Larry and Gary.
Thanks, David. I think I saw in the crowd the snake there. Don Perdome was watching, and Cruz Pedregon, and all the drag racers are glued to the television set this evening to see how their boys do here this evening.
Hey, the Ace and Eddie have done their group proud. No matter what happens here tonight, they have done themselves proud just to make it this far, because there's a lot of great guys that didn't make it this far.
Green flag, Unser out in front, but once again, it's Redmond, then Hobbs, Rutherford, and Hill.
Yeah, Redmond, you know, these 2nd, 3rd, 4th, that seems to be the battle. Hill right behind him. He's not back too far either, so.
Oh, hang on, Eddie.
Came off there.
Eddie, the thrill, gave himself a thrill coming off the 2nd corner as he boogies down the backstretch in the silver Jag enters turn 3. Now out in front with a comfortable lead right now is Bobby Unser. Riding in second is Brian Redman, as you had probably predicted. And then you have Hobbs running in third. Now keep in mind that Hobbs and Rutherford were teammates at the Indy 500 back in 1974. And Hobbs finished 5th and Rutherford won it.
Well, I think that's going to be the real battle. I think Rutherford catches up there. He's a little bit back right now. But if he and Hill can catch up with Hobbs, that could be the battle. That could be the really, really tough thing to happen in this race.
Well, Rutherford's kicking up the dirt as he goes off the chicane onto the oval part of the racetrack. As we take a look at Bobby Yu, the 3-time Indianapolis 500 champion, 68, 75, and 81. One of 2 drivers to have won it in 3 different decades. He, to use your terminology, is trying to check out right now on it.
Well, he's not checking out too much. Brian Redman's pretty close to him. And so is Hobbs. You know, they're all pretty much, you know, within 2, 3, 4 car lengths of each other. But Bobby Unser right now, Brian Redman, those 2 guys especially are thinking, don't make a mistake. Be smooth. Be careful. Don't run in there too hard and have to overbrake. They don't want to make any big mistakes because they know that they can make the feature race just by finishing where they're at. But look at this.
Look back into turn 4 and 3rd and 4th. The dark car, that would be Hobbs in 3rd position. The silver car, number 7, is Rutherford.
Yeah, Hobbs is moving down in the middle of the straightaway, Gary. You know, we talked about Aiken moving down there doing that jag-zag down the middle of the straightaway. Hobbs is going to protect that, getting into that first little sharp corner of the road course, but Rutherford's really caught up.
Rutherford's getting lower and lower and lower coming off the infield section.
Well, look how much deeper he gets into 3. He makes up a lot of ground getting into 3. He's way down on the flat part of the racetrack, though. Hobbs is up a little higher. He moves up high now. Get a little run off there. Still can't quite get close enough to make a shot at it.
Well, once again, these guys drew for these cars. These guys have not been in the cars before.
Right, and every one of these cars is a little bit different. No matter how much you try to make them exactly alike, they're still a little bit different. So it takes you 2 or 3 laps to get the feel to know what that race car likes. And every one of them you have to drive differently according to what it's doing, whether it's loose, whether it's pushing, or how much it's pushing down there, especially down here in 3 and 4.
Well, they're working on lap number 5 of an 8-lap race. We keep an eye now as we focus on that battle for the 3rd and final transfer position. David Hobbs, and look at Ursi. He says, come on, move up a little bit, Eddie.
She's trying to give Eddie all the help she can give him, you know. He's out there driving his heart out.
I want to tell a story about Eddie. When Eddie left Indianapolis the last weekend that he was racing here, on the airplane, Ursi.
Oh, there goes Rutherford. He hit that big bump down there, got her a little sideways, was on the gas at the same time, and put him right on around. That's a tough break. John just trying a little too hard. When you're in 4th spot, though, you got nothing to lose. You got to go for it.
Well, I was going to say, as we look at the Pennzoil crew there, when Eddie Hill was leaving the airport, he had a tear running down his eye, and Ursi said, Eddie, what's wrong? He said, this has been the greatest weekend. And that's when he transferred to the finals that weekend here at Raceway.
Well, I think everybody who has participated in this whole event has felt like it's been the most fun thing they've done in automobile racing, at least in the last few years. They've all had a real ball, and that's really been the unique, neat thing about this whole series, is the camaraderie amongst all these guys. And I'm the same way. I mean, some of these guys are my heroes. Some of them I've never met before, and I love being around them.
That was a quick shot of the fans that have gathered near the television set in Brainerd, Minnesota, where the NHRA All-Stars are running this weekend. And there is a look at car number 6. That is Unser. But look at Redman. Redman has closed right in. Could we have a challenge on the final lap? The white flag has been displayed. Only 3 transfer. Could we have a battle? I think Redman's smarter than that.
Well, I think Bobby probably took it a little easy. Redman's just feeling his oats, wanting to see just how well he can do when it comes $100,000 time. And he's going up there and giving old Bobby a run for his money right down here to the end.
There's a checkered flag. Bobby Yu takes it. Redman finishes in 2nd. And who comes down in 3rd but the other road racer in this one, David Hobbs.
Good old Hobbo. She made her, boy.
There's the guy that the waitress down in Sebring a couple of years ago recovering race thought he was Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
A nice round of applause from all the fans there in Brainerd. And there's a look at Eddie.
Eddie brings her home 4th, did a good job. I tell you what, the drag racers, even though their 2 guys didn't get into the final race, got nothing to be but proud of those guys because they did the whole fraternity well.
And rightfully so. And there's a look at Bobby Unser, and he wins the heat number 2. So Should be a very interesting 12-lap feature for $100,000.
Unser and Fulmer starting side by side for $100,000 with Jones right behind them. How would you like to be in that mess?
Well, you're at the right spot right now in front of your television set to watch it, because we've got all the cameras all around the racetrack to catch all the action. Now, keep in mind, we still have the 40-lap Mel Kenyon Classic and the 12-lap Fast Masters Championship still coming up from Raceway Park.
We're back with the second of our Fastmaster Heat winners, Bobby Unser. Congratulations. Pretty uneventful drive, it appeared anyway.
Yes, it really was, but sometimes it's good if they're that way, you know.
Especially when you ponder what's coming up. You're going to start on the outside of Fulmer, going into turn one, side-by-side start. You got your strategy figured out yet?
No. I just wanted somebody to tell me how we're going to put all those cars through that skinny road down there.
We're relying on you guys to show us the answer.
I don't know. The road, when I measure, it just doesn't measure wide enough, so I will have to see what's going to happen, you know.
In all seriousness, there's been a lot of talk about what's going to happen when you six guys go for $100,000. What are you prepared for mentally? How much, hand-to-hand combat's going to take place out there?
I just really don't know. I think most of it is going to be predicated probably on the first turn. And, different guys have different attitudes. You just can't start them too abreast and get into the first turn like that is the problem. It just won't fit. So, we'll just have to see who gives and who takes a little bit. The guys on the inside, I'd rather be on the inside than the outside is what I'm trying to say.
We'll be anxious to see in a few minutes whether he's a giver or a taker in turn one. I got my own theory about that. Meanwhile, let's go over trackside to Benny Parsons.
Dave Despain, I probably will not be able to understand a word these guys say because they're English and they're excited. Brian, you got a chance at $100,000.
Well, we're in the final. What more can we say?
David?
Well, I sneaked through the semi-final in June, and I sneaked through tonight, and I'm going to sneak that $100,000 right from under their noses. They're going to wonder where it went.
What did you sneak through? What was that word?
I sneaked through the semi-final in June, and then I sneaked through all this weekend.
Brian, you got to beat this guy. I mean, we'll never hear the end of it.
This has been a problem of mine for 35 years.
And it continues, right?
And it continues. It's like an ongoing nightmare.
Hey, here's Brian Redman's nightmare. Take a good look at him. There he is. No wonder. Dave Despain.
Couple of fun-loving friends right there. I wonder if they'll still be friends when that $100,000 race is over. Want to check in one last time with the boys in Brainerd, guys. I guess it's a little bit of disappointment, but Larry Rice said it very well, Dave McClellan. Your guys did your sport proud here tonight.
They certainly did, and they may not be in the finals of the Fastmasters, but I can tell you here in Brainerd, Minnesota, there is not anybody ashamed of what Eddie Hill and Ed McCulloch accomplished. You got to remember, there's a lot of racers, excellent, great racers, sitting at home watching a pair of drag racers go around that modified road course. Of course, they're going to be back tomorrow, and that's one thing about these Fastmasters. They're still working at their craft. They'll be right back here at the Champion Auto Stores Nationals competing in Top Fuel. And, oh, by the way, you can watch all the action at home 1 week from tomorrow. That's right. Next Sunday, you'll have an opportunity to see the show right here on ESPN. We wish we could be there for the finals, but we're not. We had a great time. Everybody here's enjoying it. They're going to be watching, Dave. Thank you for letting us be with you.
Terrific bunch of racers up there, guys. Have a great show tomorrow. We enjoyed sharing the evening with you here. The Fastmaster Championship round of 6 is set. A $100,000 prize is on the line, and the Mel Kenyon Midget Classic is up and coming. What a weekend to wrap up Saturday Night's Thunder for 1993. Well, the boys of Summer have put on a terrific show, and our hat is off to all the Lingner Group crew for bringing it to you. Thank you, guys, every one of you out there on the headsets. You've done a heck of a job all summer long, and we very much appreciate it. Great pictures, and we have those folks to thank for it. And now we get to the final midget feature of our season here. They've fired the engines for the Mel Kenyon Classic. The command came from Mel himself. Mel, who had hoped to be driving in the race, had a great qualifying position all locked up, and the engine blew coming to the last lap. What a drag. And so Mel got to give the command to fire the engines. So it's going to take a couple of laps here to get them warmed up. We'll tell you that the USAC Silver Crown cars did run today at Springfield. Jack Hewitt won that one over Chuck Gurney. Jeff Swindell immediately flew to Knoxville, where he'll start third at the Knoxville National tonight after finishing third today. Here are last night's results from Knoxville. Stevie Smith won over Kenny Jacobs and Danny Lasowski, Mark Kinzer, and Andy Hillenberg rounding out the top 5. That was preliminary action. The big go there, the best of 180 cars racing tonight for the Knoxville National Final. Do I have time for one quick story? Steve Kinzer in his qualifying heat race ran over another car, went airborne, did a flat 360 spin, came down on all 4 wheels, bent the front axle, went on and finished second in the race, and he's on the pole for the National tonight. Heck of a show. Meanwhile, we've got the midget main, and it's time for Gary and Larry.
Yeah, normally we give you 30 laps tonight. 40 laps of the Mel Kenyon Classic, and here is your starting lineup. Andy Michner and Tony Stewart in the front row. Remember, the top 6 qualifiers are locked in. The second row, starting in 3rd position, Kenny Irwin. We'll talk about that important starting position momentarily, and Mike Bliss. In the 3rd row, the pair of 9, Steve Lewis Performance Racing, the Beast Gerties of Stevie Reeves and Stan Fox. The top 6 are inverted. The 4th row, the winners of the semis, Johnny Parsons and Jim Hettinger. Then in row 5 on the inside, Chuck Leary and Kenneth Nichols. Row 6, starting side by side, Brian Gerster and Tice Carlson. In the 7th row, Randy Talsman. He's won earlier here this season, and Paige Jones from California. In the 8th row on the inside, Teddy Hines, a 3-time Speedrome champion, and Terry Goff, who won at Speedrome last night. In the 9th row, Tracy Hines and Mike Hurst. In the 10th row, Bill Bowie and Ronnie John Cox. In row 11, Jeff Sands in 62 and Perry Yount with our Cameron 51. And rounding out the field, row 12, Jack Runyon in 7R, the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year, and John Murphy. Now, as we told you, that 3rd starting position is very important. That's Kenny Irwin. He's sponsored by Wins. However, let's quickly mention tomorrow, 2 o'clock, beautiful road course up there in Wisconsin, live from Elkhart Lake, the Texaco Haviland 200. We'll have all the action right here with the IndyCars on ESPN. 3rd starting position, Kenny Irwin. He's sponsored by Wins. The Wins Challenge money is up to $8,000. They drew. The 3rd starting position took it. So if he wins the race, he collects the additional $8 grand.
How ironic can you get? I mean, a car that's sponsored by Wins has a chance to take home the $8 grand. If he doesn't win that money, he'll go into the point fund that Wins is paying in to the Wins point fund at the end of the racing season. But $8 grand for a win tonight would be a welcome addition to his money here tonight, I can guarantee you that.
All right, Rice-A-Roni, who you going to take? You took that Bliss kid in the 10-lapper, and I took Fox.
Well, you know, I got to think that it's going to be between those two again in this race. You know, it's hard to beat Fox, but Parsons might be the guy to watch from back in the field. He looked pretty doggone tough in that.
He'll be starting inside the 3rd row. Once again, he is in this by virtue of his win in that 1st qualifier. The 2nd qualifier was won by Jim Hettinger, so they'll start side by side in row 4. Interestingly enough, Stan Fox, the fast qualifier, is the teammate of Stevie Reeves, and they'll start side by side in row 3. They're the top qualifiers.
Yeah, as we said before, this is a great team that they've put together. They've always been fast on every racetrack they've gone to. Both guys know how to drive the race cars, and it's a credit to their whole operation at how well they do.
Now, unlike the 10-lapper we saw earlier in the Race of Champions, what might be the strategy over 40 laps?
Well, a lot of it's going to have to do with tires. We heard Fox say that he qualified on a hard tire. That's the reason he looks so squirrely in his qualifying runs. Well, you have to run a hard tire to go 40 laps around this racetrack. So I think tires are going to be very, very important. You've got to have the race car set up so that it doesn't get too loose and burn up that right rear early.
Andy Michner has been very consistent this year. There you see him in the yellow number 6 car. And right now he is 4th in the point standings, only 36 points behind your leader, Mike Bliss.
Yeah, they're going to do a 4-breast salute to the crowd. This is something they do at a lot of racetracks around. They get side by side. They come in here. They give a big wave to everybody, and everybody always says, man, if they drop the green flag now, we'd be in a ton of trouble.
I think one time we'd like to see him drop the green on that one.
Well, I don't know. As a race car driver, when I'm sitting out there, I don't want them to drop the flag. Youngsters talk about how narrow that thing is, getting 2 cars abreast into that road course. Believe me, that corner up there, number 1, would be plenty tight with 4 cars abreast.
All right, now they'll go back to a side-by-side, 2 rows. 2 a row, I should say, over 12 rows, 24 cars for 40 laps in the Mel Canyon Classic, and doggone it, we'd all love to see that gentleman out there in that yellow number 3.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Mel Canyon, but he's been at this a long time. I mean, when I first started racing, he was the guy I used to look up to. I mean, I used to go and I'd qualify. Wherever he got in line to qualify, we didn't draw numbers back then. I would follow him because I knew he was smart enough. He'd been around long enough. He knew when the best time to qualify was, and I always followed his lead, and he taught me a lot over the years.
Had a look there at Tony Stewart, who is now 6th in the point standings. He's one of the drivers that had to fly back from the Silver Crown race in Springfield this weekend. I think this is the first time you missed the Silver Crown race in Springfield in, what, about 25 years?
At least 25 years. You know, it's tough not to go there, but more important things to do. This is a tough race.
Well, I've been announcing there since 75, but hey, we had to be here for the Bassmasters and for the Mel Canyon Classic.
Man, this is it. A half a lap to go. We're going to come up around here, and this is it, man. This is the last chance for romance this year on ESPN's television show, and these guys are really excited and ready. The big dog's going to bark here pretty shortly.
3rd row, a pair of 9s. That's a pair to draw to right there. Stevie Reeves, defending national midget champion, and Stan Fox. They qualified 1st and 2nd, so Stan starts outside the 2nd row. Let's see if he makes a quick move early on.
He's going to try to, Gary. He wants to get to the front as quick as he can. I guarantee you that.
I think Irwin might like to move quickly, too, because he's got an extra $8,000 hanging on there if he can take the victory.
Well, even though it's a 40-lap race, you got to save your tires. That's Tolsma's car that you throw the sparks by now. Look at this. Fox already. Clear down on the inside. Upside Irwin. He can't quite make it stick. He's going to have to fall back in line.
Irwin out there in the 3rd position. 4th position. Your leader is young Tony Stewart in the Crystal Pepsi car out of Vincennes, Indiana, car owned by Raleigh Helmling, and he has the lead right now.
Looks like several of these cars have the race cars very low in the back end. That's why the sparks are coming off. They're running the race cars so low to get some bite that they're throwing sparks. They're bottoming out and throwing the sparks. That was Bliss in that 2nd car trying to get under Tony Stewart. Couldn't quite make it stick.
You heard Fox talk about the hard tire they used to qualify. That's why he was throwing it in the corner, kind of turning it sideways to get the heat up, because he knew he had 40 laps to go and they had to run the same compound in the feature that they qualified on.
Well, but they're all pretty much in the same situation. They all have a hard tire. Look at Bliss. He went down in there, almost slid up into the side of Stewart, but he didn't quite hit him. So he gave him plenty of room.
There's a good look at the white number 9, the performance racing beast on the inside. That is Fox. Fox tried to get on the inside of Irwin. Irwin tried the inside of the benchmark car of Michener. You got that Wins car back there in 4th position, but he needs to move up 3 spots if he claims that $8,000.
Look at the Hettinger on the outside. That orange car came up on the outside of Fox, but he couldn't quite make it stick either. Everybody's looking for a way around. I think Stewart is kind of holding up the pack, but nobody can find a way around him right now.
Saw Stevie Reeves, the other white car, go by Hettinger in the Meineke car.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars right smack in a row. Oh,
hang
man.
on, Mike Bliss. He tried that slide on the inside, didn't make it work.
Boy, it looks like he doesn't know where he's going to end up when he takes that slider in there, but he hasn't hit him yet. He's always giving him plenty of room.
Foxy again looks to the inside. Remember, he won the Copper Classic. He won the big race that we televised from Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago, the Badger World Classic. He is very tough on pavement.
Bliss didn't get us quite as good a shot. Oh, there's Paige Jones.
Paige Jones in the other Potter car, the other Potter V6. He is headed for the pit area, and his race comes to a premature conclusion.
Boy, these first 7 cars are just running bumper to bumper. Man, how close can you get?
Remember, Tony Stewart was late in arriving here at Raceway Park, got no practice whatsoever, had to qualify with only 1 lap, and he's out there leading it.
He sure is. No practice at all. 1 lap to qualify, out there leading the race. Look at Kenny Irwin trying to get down.
Oh, hang on. He almost lost the rear end that time.
He got down. He got a little loose coming off. Dove way to the inside of the racetrack and allowed Stan Fox to go around him on the outside. That was a pretty brave move by Stan Fox.
Now, once again, Bliss looks to the inside. Bliss, who lives in Milwaukee, Oregon, but this summer moved to Indianapolis for all the racing. He's trying to pick up another midget victory here at IRP. Tony Stewart drives that car from
since, as we mentioned, but Riley Helling always seems to have that car set up just right for his driver.
Well, he always hired some pretty doggone good race car drivers, too. That doesn't hurt anything. But that race car isn't all these cars. Look at that. A V4, a V6, a straight line 4, 1, 2, 3. Man, these guys are running 2, 4, 6, 7. I'm battling back and forth. What a race.
Remember that fourth car back there in line, the fifth car back in line is Kenny Irwin in the Win-sponsored car, but he needs to move up a few positions because he has $8,000 in bonus money if he can win this race from the Wins Challenge.
Fox is going to give Michener a shot on the inside. Can't quite make a stick. Look at Kenny Irwin. As soon as he moves out of line, Kenny Irwin went right around him on the outside, moved him back a spot. Whenever you pull out of line,
it's almost like a NASCAR draft. Once you pull out of the draft, they go on by you.
That's right. You lose your spot. Now Irwin's going to try the inside.
This is perhaps the best race that we have seen all season long with the total number of cars in contention right now.
Yes, and we still got a long way to go, right?
10 laps complete.
10
laps to go.
10 laps gone. Bliss right now, right in behind Stewart, trying to get a shot. Here he's going to try him again. Every time he gets a little bit of a run, he just can't quite get in the corner deep enough to get around him, and he has to fall back.
At the same time, Irwin took a shot on the inside of Michener.
Stewart in the front 4 car, Bliss in the second, number 6 car, the other blue car, running 1-2 right now, Gary.
That's Michener back there in third. Irwin is fourth. In the first white 9 car, there is Fox on the inside. He again tries the inside position going into turn 1.
Turn 1 is the hardest corner. Turns 1 and 2 are the hardest corners to pass on the inside.
Well, the Meineke car, the yellow number 5 of Hettinger, has gotten around Stevie Reeves, and now he pulls up to compete with Fox.
He might be the man to watch. He has not been battling anybody. He's just been riding back there in that 4th, 5th, 6th spot. He hasn't been using up his tires, been running the race car very straight. It might be the wisest thing that he's done.
Well, now I have to ask you, Larry, do you count the laps in your head as you're out there racing? Do you look for some sign for the pit crew or just wait for the flyman to give you 5 laps left?
No, right now, he's just trying to run the race car smooth and straight, take advantage of anything that's given to him, but he's not trying to take anything away from anybody. He's taking the positions as they come to him, but he'll realize, he'll get that cross flag. When she gets to halfway, then you're going to see him get a little more aggressive, try a few more things, but right now, he's quite happy to run right there. Some of the other guys want to run a different style of race. They want to be more aggressive. They want to get up front first. It's just the difference in the style and the way the guy wants to run his own race.
So look at this parade down the front stretch. You think that Tony might be just a tick off the speed, but he's using that groove that they can't get by.
Well, I think Tony's running as fast as he can run, and he's running the race car straight, and he's going to use up all the racetrack that he can use because he knows that as long as he's leading, they've got to take the racetrack away from him. They've got to take the lead away from him. He doesn't want to give it away. He wants them to take it.
Well, they have now completed half the race, 15 laps down. Now 16 laps complete.
Well, it's a 40-lap race, Gary, so they're not halfway yet.
That's right. I'm still thinking 30 laps. Yes, 40 laps.
So they've still got a long way to go. Everybody's right now seems to be a little less aggressive. Well, as I say that, Mike Bliss takes one more shot. But everybody settled down there for a few laps, just kind of rode in line, and then all of a sudden they kind of get their tires cooled down, think this is going to be it. I got him this time.
If they're coming up on some lap traffic, this could be interesting.
Well, lap traffic could play a very, very important part. If these lap cars don't get down out of the way, it could be very, very important for what happens in these next few laps.
There they pull up behind
Tony Stewart down on the inside. That's the 2 car. That's John Murphy.
John Murphy, yeah. Murphy had gotten the move over sign about 2 laps back, so he in fact stayed on the high side and let him go by the low side.
Look at Michener. He moved down. He got a little bit sideways there as he moved down. Tried to, but Irwin couldn't get around him. Irwin in that 7 car tried to get around him, just couldn't pull it off.
And Fox can do nothing with Irwin.
Boy,
there's Hettinger back there in the yellow 5 car. Look at this scramble down the front stretch. They got Jeff Sands out in front now in that red 62 car.
See what's what I mean about traffic. Look at Jeff Sands. He cost Mike Bliss 2 spots right there. He moved down, then back up. He caught Mike Bliss right in the middle and cost him 2 spots right there in just one little move.
Yeah, a lesson there for young race drivers. If you're about to be lapped, stay where you are. Don't move right or left. Stay right where you are and let them go on by you.
Exactly. When he moved down and moved back up, he just caught. Look at this. Michener, who was actually looked like he was one of the slower cars out there, all of a sudden has just passed for the lead. All of a sudden seems like he got going faster. Stewart, I don't think, is going any slower.
Well, Irwin has moved to 3rd now. Remember, he needs to win this race to pick up the Wins Challenge money. A big slide job coming to the corner. They both are sliding there, but he takes over second position. Fox now is up to fourth. So Michener now, it begins to open up the gap over Irwin. But let's see if Irwin can close it now once he got around Stewart.
Well, they both did get very, very sideways. They went around. Look at this is Fox going around the blue car. I think that's Fox who just moved into third spot. He's on the move right at this point of the race.
Now 22 laps are complete. 18 laps to go. Michener and the Benchmark Products Hendry is out in front. Second now is the Wins car.
Irwin's second, Fox is third. Stewart is still hanging on to fourth. Bliss was fifth. He was the big loser in that little mix-up back there. It looks like Irwin's getting sideways. He's got blue smoke rolling off the right rear. That's Kenny Irwin's dad right there looking on.
You know, that's a helpless feeling for a father because all you can do, you know how it is right now watching your son Robbie race, all you can do is just stand there and watch.
All you can do, you've done everything that you can do. He prepared the race car to the best of his ability. He put everything into that race car, all of his heart and souls in that race car. It's up to Kenny to bring her on home.
Plus a couple of bucks.
Yeah, plus a couple of bucks is right. You think he's not nervous? I'll guarantee
he's taking some. I'm not sure what that gesture was for him, but you'd love to see him pick up that additional $8,000.
I believe Kenny Irwin is gaining on Andy Michener right now. Look at him gaining, going down here at the back, 3 and 4, going into 3. He really runs in there.
The last race that we televised here featuring the midgets, he was challenging for position and spun coming off the fourth corner.
He was trying. He was going for it, man. He was going for everything he had, and he just lost it on that last lap. He seems to be the fastest race car on the racetrack. He's been chasing Michener, though, for the first 25 laps, 15 laps to go, and he hasn't been able to get around him yet. It's getting close to tell time, though.
He come down a tire wear right now.
He may very well. Look at Hettinger. He's just gotten around Mike Bliss back here, and he's working very hard on Tony Stewart. I think he got them both right there.
One turn, he took both of them.
Wow, Bliss tried to get back around the inside of him and couldn't quite do it. Hettinger really pulled a nice move to get around those two guys.
That moves him to fourth position right now, but he may be out of laps to really close in and have a shot at this victory. He's up to fourth. He'll try to pull away from Mike Bliss now. 27 laps are now complete.
He may have waited just a little bit too long. He got a little bit too far back in order to make a real good challenge. They've got about a half a corner lead on him, and that's a long, long ways to go.
Remember, Kenny Irwin is back in third in the point standing, so a win here would probably jump him up to the lead.
It looks like these guys are all getting a little bit sideways. As you see right there, Michener's a little sideways. He's burning a little bit of tire coming off the fourth corner. So is Irwin, so it's getting a little loose.
Of the top eight, they all have national midget wins except for the leaders. This could be Michener's first right now, and he's back there in fourth position in points.
Yeah, believe me, he wants this win as bad as anybody out there. Look at Kenny Irwin's dad. He's a nervous wreck.
He said, go on by him right now. Let's get this over with. 29 laps about to be completed as they go by Jeff Sands again. And there is 29 laps.
This guy's got the bucks in this thing. He wants that extra $8 grand, man.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that picture is indeed worth 1,000 words when you look at Kenny's dad in the pit area.
Kenny Irwin is hang on. That's about as close as you're going to come without running into somebody. Look at that.
The high side.
He's trying him inside. Inside, outside, upside, downside. Man, he's trying everything.
Let's hope it's not upside, downside. Yeah, but look at this. Look what happens in the meantime. Foxy moves to third position.
That was the Michener crew there we were looking at. They're just as nervous. And look at Fox. He's gaining on both of them. This baby's going to go down to the wire. Three-way race.
Well, Stan Fox was the fast qualifier. He started outside the third row. The inverted start of the top six. So he started outside third. He's up to third right now. And look at this gaggle of cars out in front of him.
Oh, this is going to be very important. It's going to be really important where you hit these flap cars and how you handle them once you get to them. Right there, Irwin might have made a little mistake by trying to get under it. No, Fox couldn't do it. I thought maybe he lost a little momentum and gave Fox a chance, but he didn't.
These cars are battling for position in this pack, and now look at the leaders come up behind them. There's 2 and 3 wide coming off the corner. Here comes Fox all the way down the inside.
This is going to be it. Look at Kenny Irwin. A clear shot around the outside. Clear shot around the outside. Oops, he got shut off right there.
Oh, and he slices down across the nose of Michener to the inside of Mike Hurst in that red number 91 car. And now Kenny Irwin has the lead. Pulls up behind Jack Runyon, and look at Kenny's dad.
Kenny Irwin made a good guess, and it worked out just perfectly.
Guess is right, exactly right.
Yeah, that's what you do. You can only guess. You didn't follow those guys that long. They didn't know exactly where they were going to go. He had to make an instant guess, and he guessed right. But he might guess wrong here on this next bunch. You just don't know.
Well, 34 laps complete. They're working on lap 35. They'll have 5 laps remaining when they come by this time. Kenny Irwin out in front. John Cox out in front of him. And here comes Fox on the inside trying to overhaul Michener for second.
Johnny Parsons just pulled the pits. He's out. 5 laps to go. Kenny Irwin got through the traffic best. That might have been all she wrote. Once he gets through the traffic, it's going to be tough for these guys to haul him in at 5 laps to get back around.
Man, this is going to be one happy young man and, of course, one happy father. If they collect that wins challenge money, the additional $8,000, which would have gone on into the points fund.
Well, just to win one of these Skull Copenhagen midget, victories is a big deal. Look at Fox. If he gets around Michener, he might have the beans to go get him here in the last 3 or 4 laps, and he got around him.
All right, there is a look at the Wins car that's in a position to collect the money. However, with about 3 laps to go, can Stan Fox close in?
Well, see, that slows him down right there when that car doesn't give him clear room. Getting in the corner slows him down a little bit. It might be all that Fox needs if he just gets a little bit more traffic to hold him up.
Well, he has 2 slower cars out in front of him right now. He pulls up behind. Look at this. There's Randy Talsman of Meridian, Idaho, who has won here before this season. And the next car to be lapped will be Chuck Berry. And I don't think Stan Fox is going to close in. Only 2 laps to go. It looks like Irwin is on his way to the big payday.
It looks like Kenny Irwin is on his way to the win. He drove the wheels off that race car. Great job.
Oh, and Dan's counting down the laps right now. He pulls up behind Leary. There's the white flag. 1 lap to go. He moves to the inside of Leary.
Don't make a mistake. Drive that thing straight, man. He's driving that baby for him, isn't he?
He gingerly goes by, and I think Larry, being the sport that he is, backed down just a little bit and let him go on by. And here comes the checkered flag. There's Dan. He's running as fast the other direction.
Look at that. He's saying, come on,
Look at that. He takes the victory. Look at Dan jumping up and down doing the calisthenics. There's the crew. And a happy youngster, Kenny Irwin, takes the victory. Takes $8,000 more. The entire family right there. There will be a big celebration this evening.
And the big dog has barked. He is the big dog tonight.
Well, the big dog can buy an expensive collar now.
That's right. He did a great job. He won that race in traffic. He might have been a guess. He might have had a pretty good idea what those guys were doing, but no matter what it was the traffic that made the difference, and probably his experience. He did a great job.
Well, he takes a victory lap right there as he takes the victory. A big payday for the youngster. We have seen him in victory lane before, but I don't think you'll see the grin like we're going to see here.
Look at this, number 1, man. He said, I don't know where those cameras are at. I'm going to look right at you, baby.
You can see the grin through the helmet right there.
Yeah, he did. Magnificent job in traffic. That won the race for him. Stan Fox, I believe, was the fastest race car on the racetrack for most of the night. But he got tied up in traffic. Mike Bliss had a good chance to win it, but he got tied up in the traffic. And Kenny Irwin, just an excellent job getting through that.
So the Beast chassis with Kenny Irwin takes the victory, and he'll pull her into the victory lane. We'll have a chance to visit with him momentarily as he picks up the big payday. And don't forget now, stay with us, because we still have $100,000 going to the winner of our Fast Masters Championship. That's coming up next as we return to Indianapolis Raceway Park.
We're not great with arithmetic, but we think Kenny Irwin Jr. may have just won the richest midget race of the year, counting the $8 grand from wins. Make the big move when there's big money out there. Congratulations.
I'll tell you what, I knew he was going to have to come in traffic. Andy Michener was too fast, and Stan Fox, he was fast all night. I tell you, this Wins Pontiac run great, and I mean, it was just traffic that won the race for us tonight, and we were lucky enough to come out on top.
Well, you kind of got to do something with the traffic. The traffic won't just hand it to you. How much of that move was planned, and how much of that was just, hey, take a shot?
I tell you what, Johnny Parsons helped me out a lot when he dropped down and kind of squeezed Andy Michener to the bottom. And, I mean, there was just a hole, and we took it. We were just lucky enough to win it tonight.
Let me ask Kenny Sr. We saw about as much of you on TV as we did of the kid. You were pretty excited there. You were driving the thing for him, weren't you?
I felt like I was in it every lap with him. I mean, I just couldn't believe the job he done. He done a super job tonight.
A terrific bit of driving. We congratulate you. You kept the cool head. You got the big money. What happens next?
I don't know. I just hopefully, Wins stays with us next year, and we'll have to see what happens. Wins put up a lot of money this year in the USAC Copenhagen Skull Series, and we were lucky enough to bring it home tonight.
There's a young man who just did a terrific job. We'll leave you with a top 10 here from the Mel Kenyon Classic. And one more big congratulations to Kenny Irwin Jr., who is $12,000 richer on a big money night at IRP. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Saturday Night Thunder. This is the moment we've been waiting for since show number 1 way back at the beginning of the year. The run for $100,000 to the champion of Fastmasters 93. $100,000 to win, 25 per second. The difference is worth rubbing paint for. Third is $10,000. Fourth through 10th will pick up $5,000. The total on the line, $327,500 in this Fastmasters Championship Series. We have narrowed a 42 driver field down to the 6 who will now go for the big prize money, and I guarantee you're going to see some excitement when they go into turn number 1. Here is Parnelli Jones, and throughout, he has been one of the most competitive guys out here. He will start third inside row 2. Let's take a look at a living legend.
His stats were incredible, and his name was magic. Parnelli Jones. He took the Indianapolis Motor Speedway by storm from the time he first arrived in 1961. He only drove in the race 7 times, and yet he led for 492 laps. That's an average of over 70 laps per year. Not only did he lead as a rookie, he did so in each of his first 4 starts. On the only 500s he didn't lead, 65 and 66, he climbed to at least second in both of those. A magnificent qualifier in Indianapolis, Parnelli never started worse than 6th. Thus, he was never out of the front 2 rows in any year. It was in 1962 that he became the first driver ever to lap in excess of 150 miles an hour, and he darn near won the race, leading for over 300 miles and falling to 7th only when his brakes failed. Even Roger Ward said Parnelli was the moral victor. When he won in 1963, in only his 3rd start, Parnelli was considered overdue. In 1964, he engaged in a whale of a battle with A.J. Foyt, only to have his fuel tank explode, caused by static electricity on a pit stop. He bailed out and was lucky to escape with only a singeing. The only driver ever to have led for over 400 miles in 2 500s, Parnelli almost won again in 1967. The controversial STP turbine was leading with only 4 laps to go when an inexpensive bearing failed in the rear end. He didn't know it at the time, but this was to be his last 500 as a driver. He still competed and won in Trans Am and off-road racing events, but pressure of business with his growing number of West Coast Firestone stores more or less forced him to hang up his goggles at the Speedway. He continued as a car engine, however, winning the 500 with Al Unser in 1970 and 71, and claiming the USAC National Championship for 3 years in a row with Unser in 70 and Joe Leonard in 1971 and 72. Briefly in the mid-1970s, he even went Formula One racing with Mario Andretti. As driver, Parnelli won in sprint cars, midget stocks, and sports cars. Paved tracks, dirt ovals, or road courses, it made no difference. Today, his chain of tire stores has grown to over 40, while he oversees the driving careers of his 2 sons, PJ and Paige, winner of the recent Belleville Midget Nationals. And if there's any doubt about Parnelli's ability today, witness his dominant performance in round 3 of the Fastmasters just a month ago.
Our thanks to Donald Davidson. There is Parnelli in the car, ready to start 3rd inside row 1, or we should say inside row 2, for the championship final. Quick word, $36,000 raised at charity auction today. The driver suits, the helmets, and all the rest from Fastmasters have been auctioned off. Thank you, guys. We'll be back with the money run.
Race drivers have put these drivers, or race fans, I should say, have put these drivers on pedestals. They've climbed off the pedestals. They're in the Jags. They're lined up. We're ready for the go for $100,000.
Yeah, they're not on pedestal right now. They're down there. They're ready to get dirty and do it, man. I'll guarantee you. Those guys are thinking of anything and everything to beat the other guy into that first corner. Parnelli told me earlier that if he couldn't start first, he'd rather start 3rd than 2nd.
Well, the front row, George Fulmer and Bobby Unser in 10 and 5. The second row, Parnelli. There's Rufus in number 7. Outside, Brian Redmond in number 6. And the third row, on the inside, David Pearson. Watch for some of his moves in number 3 and David Hobbs in number 4. We have not seen a side-by-side start since our very first week, the 19th of June. This should be very interesting. You heard Bobby Unser say, it ain't wide enough down there to put 2 of them in there.
Well, I got to think that he's probably right. We're riding along that's David Hobbs we're looking at right there. He's getting ready. He's scrubbing the tires up a little bit, trying to get that baby ready to drive her down into turn 1. And it's going to be very, very narrow. And I think Rufus might be right. I think those 2 first guys get to racing each other real hard into turn 1. He might be in a good spot to lead this baby coming out of that road course part of the racetrack.
Bobby, you said somebody's got to give and somebody's got to take. We're going to find out about a half lap who's going to do what.
I guarantee you, Bobby ain't giving up nothing.
That's right. He's going to take as much as he can. All right, Bill Carey looks him over. They accelerate off the corner, but not too much. A tight left-hander. There's the green flag. 12 laps. The winner takes home $100,000. Look at this. Side by side.
Fulmer gave him enough. No, he didn't. He got into the dirt, but Fulmer gave him enough room, and Bobby took it. That's exactly what we thought might happen. If Bobby got in there and he didn't force him into the dirt, it was really going to be tough for Fulmer to get the lead, and that's exactly the way it happened.
So Bobby takes the lead down the backstretch.
Bobby's in the lead. Look at those first 3 guys. Fulmer second. Parnelli trying to figure out. Look at Parnelli on the outside. There he goes, right on around him. Fulmer's going to have to give him a little room, is he or isn't he?
Does he have enough room coming off the corner?
Oh, Parnelli.
A little sideways. He's going to make it work, though.
Parnelli got a little
on the brakes.
Oh, man, he got a little sideways. Fulmer forced him out of there. Man, you knew this last one was going to be for the Bucks, and they were going to be going for it, but boy, are they going for it.
All right, Fulmer in second. There's Jones, the Silver Jag, in third.
I tell you what, Parnelli, he gave it everything he had right there, and he just about pulled it off, but he couldn't quite do it. And while they're battling, Bobby Yu is taking her away.
We polled some of the drivers earlier, and they were saying, well, we think maybe Parnelli's the guy to beat, but look at Unser. He has a half straightaway advantage right now over Fulmer. As they start to send into the infield section, it's still Bobby Yu. Of course, we've added brake lights now, so you can see him working brake lights in the corner. There's a good shot.
Now, Bobby got a little bit of a lead. Fulmer has actually caught him a little bit. Parnelli, after that little excursion, has fallen back just a little bit into third position, but Fulmer now is on full throttle trying to catch Bobby Unser.
We talked a lot about the prize money, $25,000 for second and 10 for third, but there's your leader well out in front right now. 3 laps are complete.
We got 12 laps to go. That's David Pearson up there in 4th position. He's now about right on the bumper of Parnelli Jones. And we saw him. We know that he's not out there to take a Sunday ride.
He's not shy at all about making a move on the high side where there's no place up at the marbles to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, Parnelli, once he didn't pull that move off, he seems to have lost something. I don't know whether he damaged the car when he got in there sideways, got out in the dirt a little bit or not, but doesn't seem to be near as fast right now. The guy who does seem to be a little faster is Fulmer. He's catching Unser.
He's running out of laps, though. 4 laps are now complete. This is a 12-lap event. There's the battle for third position with Jones in the silver, number 7.
Yeah, he's just kind of hanging on right now. He doesn't seem to be able to pick up on Fulmer. Once Fulmer protected that position, he's fallen back a little bit. Fulmer working real hard to catch up with Bobby Unser, but Bobby Unser seems to be having things going his way right now.
Well, that's Pearson in the dark car as he's trying to close in on Parnelli Jones as we go back to the lead. Yellow flag is out. The yellow flag is out. Did we miss something, Rice? I see the yellow flag is being displayed. Now, do we have some debris on the racetrack, perhaps?
Could be some debris on the racetrack somewhere after some of those guys might have kicked the cones.
Well, there's a cone out in the middle of the track right there. That could be reason for a yellow.
We've got one of the USAC officials running out there right now. Now, that's probably the reason.
Look how slick that's going to be down. Look at the grass, the dirt on this little straightaway.
Now, those guys have been running down. They've been cutting all the corners. They've been doing all the tricks, trying to figure out how they can get around the guy in front of them. That's kind of a bad break for Bobby Unser, but
5 laps are in. 7 laps to go. Now look at the start again.
Look at this. Bobby Yu, he got a little bit behind actually on that start. You can see he's a half car length away, but he outbraked Fulmer going into turn 1 here, just flat out braked him. Fulmer was courteous enough to give him enough room. Fulmer could have really forced him into the dirt there, caused him a lot of trouble, but he didn't. Gave him enough room, and once Bobby had the inside line going into the second corner, that's all she wrote.
If those positions were reversed, would Bobby have given him the room?
I don't know. We'll never know the answer to that one, I'll guarantee you.
Now watch Parnelli in the silver car.
Look at this. He just went in there with everything he had. He tried to outbrake him. He got that thing all sideways. If he could have saved her and turned her in right there, he'd have had a made. But then Fulmer got up front, forced him out there in the dirt a little bit, and he just never got the thing handling right after he did that.
These cars, just like a passenger car, they don't steer when you got the brakes locked up.
And they don't steer when you're out there in that dirt very well either. So Parnelli's going to kind of lag back. We'll see what happens
So
right
we'll
now.
correct that and say there are 4 laps now complete. So we have 8 laps to go, and this should be a very interesting restart. After the debris has been cleared, we go back to racing. The green flag flies, and we have 8 laps to go. Hey, but look at this restart by Unser.
Unser got a good restart. Fulmer got a good start. Well, they all got a pretty doggone good restart. Parnelli's back there a little bit, but all of them got a pretty good restart. Really gave Fulmer a second shot at it here.
They did not like the starts. The yellow comes out, just like we see on some of the midget races out here. So, do these guys know it, though? Are they going to be watching that yellow light down the backstretch?
I don't know whether they saw the yellow or not. I think Parnelli and the rest of them saw it. I'm not sure Bobby
There's the
did.
yellow right there as they enter turn 3. So, once again, if you've just joined us for the Fast Masters Championship, the flagman will drop the green flag for a start. But if he doesn't like the lineup, then he'll throw the yellow as they go into turn 1, or in this case, through the infield. So they now have been instructed. They'll line up again, and we'll try it again. So once again, only 4 laps are complete, 8 laps to go.
Well, once again, a bad break for Bobby Unser, a good break for Fulmer and Jones and Pearson and the rest of the guys back there. Gives them another chance.
Well, quickly, let's go trackside. I think Johnny Rutherford may have some comments. Dave?
J.R., what did you think of Bobby and George Fulmer going down into that first turn?
I thought that was great. Real racing. It looks like something's happened to Parnelli's car because he's not able to really keep up. Either that or he's sandbagging, getting ready to do a start on him.
What's your pick in this the final?
Well, Bobby's awfully good out there, it looks like, and he's got the, he's in the lead. So, but I'm kind of pulling for Parnelli.
There you go. Our pick is Parnelli here in the VIP tent.
Looked to me like Bobby used an old Indy car, sprint car, midget starting technique, slowing down and then taking off.
Stand on the brakes and then stand on the gas. Catch him by surprise. That's exactly what he did. And it looks like he needed every bit of that because Fulmer's right on his rear end right now.
Now, once again, this is lap number 5 of the 12-lap feature. They come off onto the backstretch, head down into turn 3, and there's a very narrow gap between first and second.
Yeah, Bobby's using up the racetrack. He's going from the bottom to the top, back to the bottom, trying to use her all up. The Parnelli definitely has something wrong with that race car. He was way, way too competitive at the start of the race and has fallen off the pace quite a bit. But that number 2 car of Fulmer's is throwing blue smoke out when he downshifts right there at the starting line.
That was not brake smoke. That was out of the engine.
That was out of the engine. When he downshifts, that thing blows a little smoke out there. Of course, I think he's going from 3rd down to 1st. They're probably over-revving that baby just a little bit, too.
I think these gearboxes could be, well, I won't say.
I don't know, but
they're well used after this event.
They're well used. You don't want to buy one of these used cars at the local lot.
Have them refurbished before you buy one, because these guys are abusing the gearboxes.
Yeah, look at Fulmer. He really seems, right from the starting line in through the road course part, he seems to be very, very fast. Seems like he really gains on Bobby. Look at him getting into that corner right there. That's where he gets the closest, getting into turn number 2. Coming off of here, he seems to be real close, but going down this backstretch and through 3 and 4, he seems to lose a little bit. If he could ever...
We've seen that, though, Larry, with the veterans of IndyCar racing. They're quicker through 3 and 4.
Well, that's right. If he ever gets to keep up with Bobby through 3 and 4 and has a shot at him going into 1, it could be very, very exciting.
7 laps, now complete, 5 laps to go. A bit of a gap between 2nd and 3rd. Parnelli still runs in 3rd position.
Yeah, Pearson, look at Pearson. He's going to try to get... No, who's that? That's not Pearson. That's Redmond. Trying to get under Pearson. Smoked the brakes, but couldn't quite make her stick.
Still a good battle at the front of the pack, though, because remember what happened when Eddie Hill got to transfer. 2 guys in front crashed. So right now, should there be a battle for the lead, that guy back there in 3rd might be looking pretty good.
Parnelli might be sitting fat and sassy here if Fulmer can catch up with Bobby. Fulmer really has to get through 3 and 4 a little bit, but that's going to be his best shot, is to get through there and catch up with Bobby, because he is definitely faster here. Bobby's faster in the oval. He's faster in the road course. Look at him catching right here in 2. He always is right on his tail, getting right through 2. That's where he's... But there's not very much room right there. It's not a good place to pass, and neither is it a good place to pass coming off of 4. But look at him. He's a little closer this time. He might have a shot at him. That's the closest he's been.
Let's see what he can do down through 3 and 4. Now, once again, see the gap opens up, but he is close. The yellow flag is out. The yellow flag is out. We may have some more debris on the racetrack. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think there's a problem down there
one of the tires, the inside tire marker has been knocked askew, and it's been removed. So, well, another chance for him.
Makes her exciting. I'll say that. Oh, somebody ran over the entrance tires down there, got knocked out of the way. They put those tires so you can't cut across that first corner. And somebody ran into one of them. They've been cutting that corner pretty short. And somebody just cut her a little too short, knocked those tires out in the middle of the racetrack.
Fulmer may have to cut down between the wall and the tires to really have a shot at Bobby U.
Bobby's going to, you can be guaranteed that he's going to use up every bit of that racetrack.
He's watching the mirror, too, and he made some gesture back there.
Well, he's telling him, you try to pass me, you rascal, I'll run you right off the racetrack.
All right, we only have 8 laps complete. We still have 4 laps to go. And we should have a furl flag this time by. Well, let's see what Bill Carey has in mind for him as they come off the 4th corner. Right in that front straightaway, a packed house here this evening along the front straightaway. And there's the furl flag, 1 more lap. So let's see if Bobby gives him the old brake test to get over 3.
This is going to be it. This is the last 4 laps. Do the Jaguar Jitterbug, boys. You better get her done now.
About $100,000. David Hobbs. See if he gives us some kind of a gesture like JR's watching. I think it's only appropriate. JR's watching the hospitality tent. Maybe somebody will do the same thing to JR that he did to us.
Yeah, Hobbs he's just worried about right now trying to gain a couple of spots. I mean, you know, 25 grand per second is not too bad. He'd like to get up there and have a little of that action even. Back there where he's at. Look at Fulmer. He's testing him on the outside. Oh, that's what he did. Bobby let him get up the side of him, and as soon as he got out of the throttle, Bobby got in the throttle. He got a great restart. Fulmer,
Here comes Barnelli. Green flag. I don't think it's going to stay out, though. I don't think that green flag was not waved with any vitality, so I don't think it's going to stay out.
The green flag was out, though. You know, that was another Bobby Unser great start. Hope they didn't start. They still going to throw the yellow flag.
I think if he were waving it, we would have had the green. We just kind of stuck it out there. So this is something new for these guys. These guys are not used to these kind of starts.
Yeah, Bobby's going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what he's got to say about that. I mean, he's using all the tricks. I mean, he learned these tricks over 25 or 30 years. You know, he's going to use them all up in one night, and they keep making him start all over again.
Probably the only racetrack he never used these tricks on was probably Pikes Peak.
Probably so. There was nobody that raced against. That's right.
Just the clock. All right. Oh, somebody's. Uh-oh. Well, he's pointing at Fulmer.
Oh, well, Fulmer he pulled up the side of him back there. He wasn't going to try to make a pass back there. He pulled up the side of him just to make Bobby a little nervous. But he really hurt himself when he did that, because as soon as he got out of the throttle to get behind Bobby, Bobby stood on it and left him in the dust. So
he can pick up the throttle whenever he wants to.
That's right.
He's the leader.
He's the leader. He can do it whenever he gets ready. So I'm a little surprised that Parnelli's trying to lag back and get him run. He's lagging back 2 or 3 car lengths trying to get a run on him, but he doesn't seem to be able to get the throttle, get that thing going quite fast enough to get the run on him that he needs to get a real good shot.
There's the brake light go on there. What do we got going here?
Oh.
Wait a minute, that's not going to work. We're passing under the yellow.
Oh my gosh, you think they're...
Look at this restart.
Look at this!
Why?
Oh my gosh!
Car in the wall.
That was Parnelli.
Oh my. Let's go back and take a look at that video again. I'm not sure what kind of a start you call that. Obviously the green didn't come out, but that took care of Parnelli. They were going 3 wide.
Well, that's too bad. Parnelli was in a good position to come home 3rd spot. Hobbs got up there. He got a little carried away, and you know, he passed some guys before he really should have been, and caused that whole problem, really. I'm sure David won't want me to expound on that too much, but he really had no business going around those guys down there in the middle.
I'll tell you what, when you get the Fast Masters Championship, we'll have Hobbs come up here and sit next to me. You better tell you your nose.
That's right. You got all that money up, and you're trying as hard as you can do. Yeah, you know, I can't say that.
Parnelli obviously dejected. He walks away. He'll collect $5,000 for his efforts here this evening, but he was the odds-on favorite yesterday, and he's going to take a look back there at Hobbs. He may have something to say to him later.
These guys were standing on the button a little bit there. They were ready to go racing, and there's nobody out there.
Now here it is, 3 wide, and they don't have the green flag yet.
What happened to Fulmer?
Well, he got together with Jones right there.
Fulmer's pulled out too, so he's sitting down. Parnelli, you see walking across the racetrack, pretty dejected, pretty unhappy, and that's our man Benny Parsons. He's walking out there to say, tough luck, bud. No, it's not Benny. I thought that's fine.
I
guy's got a beard. Benny didn't have a beard.
Well, all I could see was the green shirt from the back.
Well, there's a look at Fulmer. Now, where is he? I cannot see him from the booth. He's parked down there toward turn 1 someplace, but I don't see him.
Well, I don't see him.
Oh, he's okay. I see. Dave Wilson in the pit area.
We're down here with Parnelli. Parnelli, what happened?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't know. You know, we come around to get the green flag. We're on the yellow, and somebody pulled up beside me, and I just stayed there, and then they hit George, knocked George into me, so you know, I don't know what to tell you.
How was the car running up until that point?
I was fine. I was fine. I was just sitting there. I mean, I wasn't as smooth as I'd like to be, but I was all right.
Well, a dejected Parnelli Jones, and unfortunately, your Fast Masters experience over. Thanks for the thrills, PJ.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look again, Larry Rice. Now, they're coming off the corner, heading down the backstretch for this restart.
But you see, the green flag is not out. Maybe the green flag did come out. Now, the yellow flag is still on. Hobbs moves up. The green flag is on. See the light? I think the light was on. Hobbs thought the race was on, so he moved up and got right in the middle of all those guys. And then Fulmer went over, hit Parnelli. Oh, man, what a mess.
Well, there was contact between Hobbs and Parnelli.
Well, there was contact between them, and then Fulmer went around him, slid up into Parnelli, too. But I really think they might have turned that green light on in the backstretch long before they got to that corner, and Hobbs thought the race was
Maybe
on.
they turned the yellow off, preparing for the green, and they were all going racing that point. As we take a look there at the standings, 8 of 12 laps complete. We'll come back, sort it out, and finish the race.
The sizzling duo of Mansell and Mario is hot for the championship. Next stop, a 4-mile road course with high-speed turns. The Texaco Havoline 200. Tomorrow, live on ESPN. It is the Fast Masters Championship final round for $100,000. Yeah, it's been wild. They are cleaning up the mess after Parnelli Jones' car got into the turn 4 wall on an attempted restart. That after a tangle with David Hobbs and ultimately with George Fulmer. Fulmer's car has also stopped, and as they clean up, we're going to take a moment because this is, in fact, our final gathering here on Saturday night for Saturday Night Thunder. We think it's been a terrific season. We hope you've enjoyed it. Some of our favorite memories have been committed to videotape, and we made a quick run through the archives today and came up with a little piece to say goodbye from this, our final Saturday Night Thunder. When the Saturday night crowds gather for great racing, ESPN is there. We began on the dirt in the spring, the Bull Ring at Ventura, California, where Jay Drake scored his first TV victory. Now, Mr. Potato Head insists asphalt is for racing, and when we moved to IRP, things got wild in a hurry.
We have a yellow flag on the racetrack.
Oh, look out, look out, look out. Nobody's, oh my gosh. Oh, he's driving in there deep, but
He tagged him.
We thrilled when Bobby Allison returned to the track, grieved when Davey was taken from us. In the heat of summer, we saw terrific action, including Jim Keeker making the save of the century. We cheered our heroes in Fast Master qualifying and held our breath as Mark Gerke flew out of Winchester, 4th of July fireworks, and Stevie Reeves sailed into the IRP fence. We went to a new venue, the Milwaukee Mile, caught the return of BGN to IRP, and enjoyed Fast Master qualifying with never a dull moment on or off the track. And as we head for the Fast Masters finale, it's the winners we remember best. Mike Bliss had the outstanding Thunder summer, but to a man, these guys remain our heroes. Saturday Night Thunder has been brought to you by Jaguar, the spirit of competition and the technology to produce the world's fastest production car. By new advanced high-tech formula Quaker State Motor Oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines. And by Toyo Tires. No matter what you drive, we've got you covered from H to Z. Onboard cameras provided by CarQuest Auto Parts. For your nearest CarQuest store, give them a call, 1-800-492-ART.
Larry Rice, a 4-lap race is usually called a trophy dash, and that's what we have right now, a 4-lap trophy dash for a whole lot of money.
And for the first time, David Pearson has moved up into second position, and we know what kind of moves he likes to make when he gets in that second position. So this could be one heck of a shootout between he and Bobby Unser going down to the line.
Yeah, because he's not afraid to go up on the there's a look at Fulmer headed back to the pit area on a 3-wheeler, dejected. He thought he had a shot here this evening, but then tangle up 3 and 4 on the restart will make him a spectator. Oh, and not a very good restart here for Pearson. The green flag waves. We are racing with 4 laps to go. That is a bit of a surprise.
Well, I think Bobby thought, I kind of got snookered there a couple times. I'm not going to have that happen again. I'm going to get myself a good start. But look how quickly Pearson got up with him going into that first corner. I'm telling you, Pearson, he's a racer. He really wants this win bad.
Well, he's in the second position right now, which pays $25,000, but he'd like to move up 1 and about $75,000 in income.
Well, he sure would, and he's done a great job while he's been running here in this whole series. He's come to race every time he's been on the racetrack. Bobby Unser, this guy also came to race. He came to win, as did all of them. I mean, they've all been wonderful to work with. They've driven the hearts out of these race cars, and it's going to be tough to say that one guy is the winner.
And off the racetrack, these guys have been fun to be around.
Well, every one of them is a winner, Gary. I don't care who it is or what it is. Everyone's a winner in their own right, not only as a race car driver, but as a person, and that's what's most important.
Well, Bobby pulls out to a sizable lead right now as the laps click away. We'll have 2 laps to go when he completes this run.
I think Bobby's just trying to protect the lead, trying to protect himself, run as fast as he can. He ran into that corner very, very low, moved up high as he went through it, just trying to run nice and smooth and not take any chances on making any mistakes. That's all he's got to do now is finish this.
Drivers will tell you if you try to back out and conserve the situation, you sometimes